got a bad feeling about this.
Boy, you always got a bad feeling about something.
Sarge, can you hear me?
What's going on, soldier?
We've got contact, lots of them, but they're not Covenant. They're just staring through us. What the? Oh, no!
Corporal, do you copy? Over. Mendoza, get your ass back up to second squad's position and find out what the hell is going on.
But
I don't have time for your lip, soldier. I gave you an order.
Sarge, listen.
What is that?
Where's that coming from,
Everywhere.
Mendoza?
I don't... There! Mira! Hold still! Hold still!
Let him have it.
Sergeant, we're surrounded.
God damn it, Jenkins! Fire your weapon!
There are too many,
Don't
Sarge!
even think about it, Marine.
Oh, this is local!
Get back here, Marine. That's an order.
Jenkins!
And as you can tell, the Canadian flood has arrived because we all know when Blue Jays are in Seattle, Blue Jay fans are here. So welcome. Good evening. We got Jay Trident podcast. I'm sure he got maybe the laughter out of the intro. But we got the Blue Jays coming here. They're here for revenge. So we'll see how that goes as the Mariners are coming off of 9 straight series victories. And the last time they did that was in 2001. And I think that was the series where I think the last series that they won was that Angels series where they clinched the division and then it was halted by the A's of 2001 when they actually swept the Mariners, and that was actually their only series where the Mariners got swept and lost a road series. Been a long time.
Is that true? They only lost one? Wait, they only lost one road series in 2001?
Yeah, it was that Ace series when they got swept. Everything else was like 2 of 3s or sweeps, and the Mariners actually had more problems at home.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't remember I remember the season as a whole, but hard to remember like each individual game. That's just, I mean, obviously go 116 and 46. Crazy things are going to happen. And we've the 2 streams we've been together for last have been the Blue Jays games. So apparently that is our MO as Mariners Blue Jays this year.
Yep, and I know I already said it, but Blue Jay fans are here. I'm wondering how many Blue Jay fans are there. And yeah, I noticed in the social. You saw what?
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say I saw that
that
the ticket sales didn't look as crazy for that third base side where the Jays usually sit. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be as crazy this year. I think Jays fans are kind of like Mariners fans. They're kind of ticked off at their front office. The difference is Mariners are winning right now. Jays really aren't.
Yeah, weird. And I noticed also the Mariners were actually promoting the crap out of the game. Like, hey, get your tickets. Let's prevent the flood.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, maybe it doesn't seem as prominent, but I guess we will see. It just depends if we see a lot of Blues out there.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be there. You know, I think it's just always something that happens, you know, with them being in Canada and everything like that, being able to come right over. But yeah, hopefully it's not quite as crazy. You got a little bit of, you know, earlier in the season. I think that matters. I think, you know, fans aren't as like deep into it. It's not summer quite yet. And then hopefully you've got a Mariners team playing good ball, and that's going to get some Mariners fans in here. Real quick before it goes, can we just real quick? I've been watching the Rockies the last few days just out of boredom. How awful is that team? I just can't even fathom. Oh, they're
so
losing 5-0.
bad. They're so bad that people picked up my strategy. Like 2 of the players, including they also picked up the Rockies strategy. So isn't that great? So now everybody knows, like, oh yeah, against the Rockies. So at this point, it's mainstream. The pitching strategy is look up the top 10 strikeout leaders for offense. I mean, it's kind of common knowledge in mainstream at this point. It's not so much of a secret anymore.
And some good news for the Mariners today a little bit. No Santander in the Jays lineup, no Alejandro Kirk. Jimenez was just placed on the injured list. So hopefully the Mariners catch a little bit of a beat up Blue Jays team. And while I think this is Castillo's the best starter going for the Mariners in this series, Gosman's also the best for the Blue Jays. So if the Mariners can win tonight, I think they're lined up pretty well to win this series.
Still will be a tough series because don't forget Mariners offense does have a struggle at home and pitchers do take advantage of that. And I know I'm the one that says don't use T-Mobile Park as an excuse, but I mean, it is a problem, but that's just how the roster is constructed. Like when you have a team that lives and dies by the home run, then there you go. But ironically, Mariners have actually played well anyway.
Yeah, and I think to your point, your point has always been that like everybody agrees that like it's harder to hit in T-Mobile than I don't know, like Cincinnati, right? Like everybody knows that, but I think your point's just that everybody's playing in the same ballpark when they're in Seattle. So it's like it's not like other teams are coming in here and they're moving the fences up when they're hitting and then pushing them back when the Mariners are up. So I think that's always kind of been, not putting words in your mouth, but your point is more like it is a pitcher's park, but like, you still got to win there and every team's playing in the same park when they come to Seattle.
And then the best counter of them all is Mariners still take care of business at home more than they do on the road. So like I said, I think that article was just basically in the offseason. I think it was just basically saying, well, Mariners offseason slow. Let's find something else to talk about that will get people talking.
Which is fair. I mean, I get it. There was not a lot this offseason to talk about, but luckily with baseball back, they've been winning. So hopefully they can keep it going today. And, I feel pretty right now. It's, I think more than last year, and it's easy to say, but I do feel more confident in the team this year just because the offense has been good. Whereas last year, it just seemed like the pitching was so dialed in and the pitching's good, but like, I don't know. This year feels a little different so far, but I could just be riding the wave of the vibes a little bit also. So we'll see what happens.
It's not exactly at the same level of last year as we can agree, but at the same time, it's good that everyone stepped up. And I remember Marine Layer podcast said that the success of the Mariners offense heavily dependent on bounce back seasons like JP Crawford, Jorge Polanco. I guess Dylan Moore has also been a bounce back guy, but we just need people like Julio Rodriguez, Randy Arozarena to really pick that up. And I would say Rowdy Tellez, but I guess I noticed ever since I said like, oh, we got to DFA him. And the next thing you know, he hits a grand slam home run. So maybe he heard me somewhere. Maybe someone's phone had Rooftop Sports on there. And he's like, oh, that Rooftop guy. Okay, I got to shut him up.
But it's true. It really has been. And they're getting those bounce backs. Even like Mitch Garver to an extent, while he's not hitting, he's got like a 390 OBP. So even though, and you want to see hits eventually, but he's still finding ways to get on base when he's playing. And you're not just getting bounce backs. Like you're getting Jorge Polanco MVP, Cal Raleigh MVP, and even Julio's been better to start the season than in the past. His OPS is 732. We expect more from him than that, but it hasn't been black hole. It just hasn't been MVP or supers, whatever you want to say. Yeah,
nothing standing out, and I think his numbers are pretty much similar to last year. And also, even Donovan Solano, like at one point he was batting 300 in a 5-game stretch this season. So there's that. And I'm looking up Rowdy Tellez's numbers ever since I gave him crap. Yeah, go ahead.
I will say since I think the Boston series, Solano's WRC plus is 100. I'm not saying he's been good, but it has been a little better. And it looks like we're ready for first pitch. So take it away.
Oh yeah. First pitch brought to you by SeatGeek. Use that promo code if you haven't made it to that game yet and outdo the Canadian Flood. And we are going to that first pitch, and here it is. And that is just going to be inside for a ball, and we are underway here at T-Mobile Park. And now here is the next pitch. Here it is, and that's going to be a strike. And by the way, the hitter is Bo Bichette. Rowdy Tellez, ever since I gave him garbage, he's actually been batting 275 since I said he should be cut. And now the 1-1. Now here's a liner to right field, and that is a hooking foul ball. As we're at 1-2 for the Bo Bichette. He's batting 275. He might be due for it. I'm surprised he only has 1 home run this season, though. He seems more of a guy that should be at 5 home runs by now.
He had gone like a calendar year or something without a home run or something crazy. I didn't realize that. I always figured, I don't know, just one of the guys who figures like a 15, 20 home run guy.
And yeah, and we're at a 1-2. And that's right down the middle, and that's a foul ball. And Bo Bichette just missed that one. 1-2 on Bo Bichette. His father's known to be Dante Bichette. He was known to be on the Colorado Rockies during the expansion years. Played a little bit of Cincinnati with Ken Griffey Jr. And now here's the 1-2. And that is a foul ball again. And Bichette still continues to fight it off.
It's funny. For a while, the Jays had Bo Bichette, Kevin Biggio, and they have Vlad Guerrero Jr. So a lot of sons of former MLB players.
Didn't they have a Holiday? Didn't they have a Holiday hanging around too?
Maybe.
1-2. And that is outside for a ball. Now I got to look it up. It was Braden Holiday. The Blue Jays actually drafted him too in 2019.
Oh, wow.
And now the 2-2 pitch. And that's fouled again. And Bo Bichette is really up in the pitch count. He really is. I guess he's trying to get the Mariners bullpen because they know the Mariners bullpen isn't exactly what it was in 22 and 23.
Little wear and tear early.
Why not? As we're at 2-2. Now the pitch. And just missed it. And Cal Raleigh really tried to frame it. Like I would too, but he missed it.
Yeah, it was a ball. But good job by Cal. Tried. It
didn't feel sold. It was probably one of those. That was just too obvious. And now we're at 3-2. The pitch and ball 4. Take your base as Bo Bichette just draws a walk. That was a pretty good at bat for him.
Yeah,
he had some close calls, and now we got Vlad Jr.
Certainly not the way you want to start the game out. Not only a walk, but 9 pitches. So hopefully maybe you can get a turn it over double play here. But good at bat by Bichette. Castillo's got to make a more competitive 3-2 pitch.
Yeah, Vlad Guerrero Jr. batting 295. And now the pitch. And that is a strike. And Vlad Guerrero at one point was in some kind of trade rumors with the Mariners, but it never materialized. He's batting 295 with 4 home runs, 18 RBIs, having another solid season. And now the 0-1. And that is a ball. And Cal Raleigh really tried to sell that, but that umpire is not easily sold.
Sometimes it feels like when Castillo misses, he just misses by so much sometimes.
It seems to be that way. And we know that this is not the same Castillo from 22. Not even close. Mm-hmm. As we're at 1-1. Oh, outside. That nearly got away. And 2-1. And we do see some Blue Jay fans there in the background.
Mm-hmm. Castillo's just got to be more competitive on the misses. You know, like you can throw a ball, but it's got to at least be a little tantalizing for the hitter.
At least make it worth swinging for. As we're at 2-1, and now the pitch, and outside again, ball 3. It's like Cal Raleigh can only do so much to sell that at this point.
It
was
close,
the ABS would say it was outside.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you wouldn't get that challenge if you were the Mariners. It would have been a ball.
Just like when we went to that challenge, that game where they did the ABS, and here is now the 3-1, and ball 4. Take your base again, and Luis Castillo's now have 2 walks. And now the next at bat is going to be Varsho. Now, how is Varsho doing? He's a former Diamondback back in 22. He is 3 home runs and 273. So he's actually having a solid season so far.
I think he was just activated like a week or so ago. So definitely small sample. I don't think he's played much this year.
We got the Steve-O here.
What's up,
and he's in the dark this time. And now the pitch. Low for a ball.
There was an issue with the roof that leaked water and killed my overhead lighting element or the overhead picture. So
honestly, I think that lighting works better.
Lights, though. Yeah, well,
1-0.
now I got some other lighting, so yeah, whatever. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. Just got
Doing
home
well.
from our don't quit your day job stuff.
Excellent, man.
Would
Jay,
like
how
to
you
see-
doing?
Good. I would like to see Castillo throw a strike here. That would make it a little better. But other than that, I'm doing
One.
well,
No,
man.
man.
Appreciate it.
See,
1-1.
what we really need is him to walk the bases loaded and then get out of a jam. Because of course
There we
that's
go.
that's like that's quintessential Luis Castillo.
True.
he has
Always
very
that.
true.
gets into trouble.
Yeah.
1-2 for the VAR show.
Did you call him the VAR show?
The VAR show. Too lazy to say his first name. Now the 1-2.
That sounds like
Strike
that
3
sounds like-
called. He gets him out. We got the first out on the board.
there you
Steve
go.
shows up, we get an out.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's
The
how it
VAR
works.
show. Yeah, the VAR show sounds like a weak baseball podcast.
Never would have
The
heard.
VAR show.
The
In
VAR
actuality, his name is Dalton Varsho.
show. Yeah, I actually wanted Dalton last year at the deadline. I thought that would have been
I
a
didn't
nice
even think
pickup.
of that. Instead,
Good
we settled
defender.
for
Yep.
Justin
Yeah.
Turner.
Yeah, he's actually not a terrible left-handed bat either. Would have liked
No.
it.
George Springer, the former Astros, now up to the plate. And now the pitch. And that
By the
is
way-
low for a ball.
That little two-seamer to get Varsho was nice, man. That was on that little inside half of the plate right there. That was actually, man, that was a nice little cut. I think it was a little two-seam cut. Yeah, something like that. Looked nice.
We're at 1-0 for George Springer, the pitch. And check swing. Did he go? Yep, he went. And that's going to be 1-1 for George Springer. And good thing he swung at that too, because that was well outside the zone. As we're at 1-1. Luis Castillo's got what he wants. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 2.
How old
Now
is
it's
Springer
1-2.
now?
George Springer's got to be in his 30s by now.
Yeah,
think
he's been
he's
around
like-
for a while. I would say 33 would be my guess.
Because I thought he made his major league debut with the Astros like at 1920.
Yeah, he seems like a long time
Yeah,
at
he-
the pitch.
Yeah, I think he
And
was
that's
pretty
going to be
young.
messing it for a ball, 2-2. And I'll look up George Springer. George Springer's 35.
Wow.
Are you shit? Are you serious? Yeah, he's
He
35. Wow.
started his career at 24 years old at 2014.
So he's been in the league for 10 years already. Wow.
Pretty much, yeah. Time flies. And now the 2-2.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Now here's
it
a
feels
ground
like
ball
it-
foul.
It feels like he was on his rookie contract with the Astros not too long ago.
Didn't he make his debut against the Mariners in 2014? I
We
think
can
he
always
did.
check.
Damn, 2014 doesn't seem all that long ago. Yeah, I
It
think
doesn't.
It
It
was-
really doesn't.
It was Kansas City. I actually was at his 6th game, the pitch, and low for a ball, 3-2 for George Springer.
Mm.
And I remember those Astros team, like they were supposed to be the team that was supposed to be our free wins, but even a 100-loss team gave us hell.
Never fails.
Mm-mm. We're at 3-2, and Castillo's got to strike this guy out. And now here's the pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that is going to be stopped by the third baseman, Williamson, but there's going to be no play. He did stop an extra base hit, though, so you got to give credit to Williamson for the effort at least. Had that been Polanco, that goes straight through. Ben Williamson kind of nearly had a play. I think at best he would have maybe had a play at first base had the ball got into the glove correctly, but at least he prevents a pop. He prevented 2 runs just by doing that. So I'm thankful that we have Ben Williamson for that. And now
There we
we've
go.
got the next batter. It's going to be Barger up to the plate. Addison Barger, that is. He is he's played in about 16 games, 41 at bats. He's batting 171 with a 244 OBP with 8 strikeouts. He's only walked 3 times, so maybe this would be the opportunity to actually get something done in this inning. And now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball foul, so that'd be strike 1. And a double play is absolutely needed to get out of this inning because the Blue Jays are already threatening. J.P. Crawford already having a little bit of a chatter with Vlad Guerrero Jr.
That was a little bit of a Ron Fairleyism from you right there. A double play ball gets us out of the inning.
No, it goes like this. A double play ball gets out of this inning. Rest in peace, Ron Fairley. We miss you.
Dude, I loved his home run calls on Junior. See you later.
He looked like he was about to
See
lose.
you
He
later.
sounded like he was about to pass out.
Yep.
The
You know,
1-1. Now
with
here's
a
a
fly
liner,
ball-
and that is going to be a base hit. That will get at least 2 runs for sure. Here comes Bichette. Guerrero's going to score, and the Blue Jays have now at least taken a 2-0 lead, and the Blue Jays have already threatened.
Looks
That was a
those walks-
2-run double.
Yeah, looks like the walks have come back to bite Castillo. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Oh, with a runner on third base and a base hit up the middle, that'll that runner on third base will be looking to score.
A disaster was waiting to happen. It went right through Rowdy Tellez.
Yeah, good piece of hitting, by the way.
Yeah, I don't even know if John Olerud could have gotten that.
That was a really
No.
good piece of hitting, right there on the inside quarter. He just went down and
Now here's
got it.
Clement. Now the plate or the pitch, and that is actually going to be a strike this time. The umpire was like, "Okay, I'll throw you a bone on that one." This is Ernie Clement. Now I kind of wonder if he's related to Jeff
God.
Clement.
Dude, he's got the dorkiest batting stance I think I've seen in a
Yeah, he
while.
does.
With the 0-1, and that is outside for a ball. Ernie Clement is nearly 30 years old. I don't think he's
Yale's-
related to Jeff Clement.
He hails from Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Fun fact. I'm just playing. I don't know anything.
And the
I
1-1.
just made it up.
Now here's a ground ball right to Castillo. No one's going to run. And that is out for 2 outs.
Get out of this 2-0. You'll take it.
Yeah, with considering how many
Yeah.
walks he had, yeah.
And already 31 pitches. Gonna be a short night. Gonna need the bullpen.
He is not related to Jeff Clement. Just double checked.
It was going to be a short night regardless, man. Castillo is good for 5.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
At least
Right,
he had the day
too.
off
Nice
yesterday.
pitch. That's true.
Now here's Luke's up to the plate, and now the pitch. And that is a strike, and Luis Castillo's kind of somewhat finding his strike zone finally. He's at 32 pitches, so he's going to have to make up for a lot if he wants to stay in this game any longer. Right, 0-1, and now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2, and that was a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah. Well on the inside corner of the plate. Nice little swing and miss right there. Popped up. That'll
And
do it.
La Piedra's at 2-0. And then the pitch. Now here's popped up, and that should do it for this inning. Julio was
Yep.
there, and he makes the catch, and that is going to retire the side. But the Blue Jays unfortunately get 2 runs in there. That will please the flooding Blue Jay fans. And we'll go to the bottom of the first. And who wants to see
Super
some
blast.
rooftop softball highlights?
Nice, Joe. Nice. Go, 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 go. Oh, he made. All right, Joe. Woo! Too hard to handle.
As you can tell, I went 3 for 3 in that game. And the game before that, at one point, my batting average was as low as 286. And 286 for softball is not good.
I've seen more hustle and chess.
Ouch! Hustle and chess looks like this. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I'm just messing with you, man. That's,
Oh,
that's
Josh.
awesome.
Josh, just for you. General Kenobi. Please tell me you got that joke. You know, hello there.
No, that one went right over my head. Is that a Star Wars reference?
Yes, I think Jay Triton would know.
I got it. I picked it up on it.
Fair enough. Cool.
You gotta do the
Cool.
hello there in the accent though.
Ah!
Whoa.
He baited me to say it.
Oh, is that like Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yeah.
Same guy. Okay.
Mm-hmm. We're back
I like
from
the Family Guy version of Star Wars, where
Yes.
the old man, the pedophile, was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I love you. F off.
And I think you kind of owe this, considering we cleaned some things up from your past.
So
We
technically,
can
you've
just
seen.
fast forward this.
So if you've seen that, you technically seen Star Wars. I'll actually count that as here is
Yeah,
J.P. Crawford the pitch, and that is going to be in there for a strike.
Yeah, they included the Dirty Dancing finale in the in the Family Guy Star Wars.
We're at
I'll have to watch
0-1.
that tonight now.
I still have to watch it. And Gosman's getting ready,
Great.
doing this little steppy thing, the pitch. And that's going to be a ball, just missing it. And that is going to be 1-1. ABS would even say, well, that was on the cusp, but they'll call it a ball. Kevin Gosman was known to be the Game 2 starter between the Mariners and the Blue Jays in the playoffs against Robbie Ray.
He's
And
got
now
a
we're
weird
at
little-
he
He's got
does,
that weird
the
little
1-1.
windup, doesn't he?
And that is low for a ball. 2-1. Crawford is
He's got
batting
the-
288.
He's got that cool little overhand motion, though. I kind of like that.
2-1 for the JP, who has improved vastly compared to last season. Last season was pretty much a non-factor. The pitch, and that is popped up, and he got jammed up on that one. But there's some running, but Bo Bichette, he is there, and he makes the catch, and that's going to be 1 out.
Wow, popped up a fastball. But I'll tell you what, though, 288, huh? Wow.
Well, that went down a couple points probably because of that.
Yeah, so he throws the little four-seamer 56.8% of the time. Yeah, so he's predominantly a fastball splitter guy. So, yeah.
Now we got Jorge Polanco. Now, before you see the fact that he's batting 348, he's actually dropped a bit. It seems that he has struggled in the Oakland or the Sacramento series, the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball.
How was that? How was that experience, by the way, seeing the Mariners play in a AAA ballpark?
I didn't get to go.
Did you see it? Surely it was on TV, though, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I saw it. I was like, I like it.
Had a spring training vibe, kind of.
It's a good
to
vibe,
me.
yeah. The 0-1. And that is low for a ball. And my phone just told me that Eugenio Suarez hit a home run, and he was on my bench in fantasy baseball, so that's going to hurt.
I can't wait to see it on MLB The Show 25, right? So you have the A's in there playing at Sacramento.
1-1.
It was weird seeing people in the grass on a Major League Baseball game.
I
was
like
kinda
that.
awkward.
I
It was
like
cool,
that.
though.
That's where I'm going to
Yeah,
be
that's pretty
if
cool.
I go to Sacramento for it. We're
Yeah.
at 2-1 for
It makes
Polanco.
you wonder. Yeah, it makes you wonder what the Mariners would look like playing at Cheney or something.
The 2-1.
Exactly.
Now here's a ground ball right to Bo Bichette.
Ooh,
Tossed
chopper.
over the first in time. So do we think the Pope is going to throw out the first pitch for the White Sox? I think he would prefer the Cubs.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. The new Pope is American. Yeah, that's
From
cool, man.
I think he's a
Chicago.
Sox fan, though.
America. The new Pope. I heard that they were in conclave and they released the white smoke signaling the new Pope. And
The pitch. And now here's a fly ball. That's going to be popped up more like.
was that Julio?
And
Yeah.
that's Julio. And he makes the catch, and that will retire the
God,
side.
what a weak swing.
Yeah,
Damn.
Julio is disappointing me. But let's watch some Joe offense.
Nice hit, Joe. Okay, Joe, now's your time to shine. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Joe Pence.
Joe fence. That's right.
Could have used a few of those last inning.
We
That's
could have.
funny.
And I wasn't even going for like home runs. I just wanted a nice, sharp, clean liner.
Put the ball in play, make things happen.
Always.
That's exactly right. Put the ball on the ground. With your speed, you should be legging it up.
Every time I see you hitting one in the air, you owe me 20 push-ups. No problem. Hits a pop-up. Crap, I got to do 20 push-ups.
By the way,
Speaking of
4th
the
of
devil,
July
Cleveland's
weekend.
winning.
4th of
Say it
July
again, Jay.
weekend. Oh, 4th of July weekend. Everybody be ready. Rockies versus White Sox series. That is going to set baseball back 100 years.
I feel so patriotic between those two teams.
Major League Baseball got it right by putting a team in Denver, didn't they, man? Let me tell you.
It's a mile high.
You know, the city that doesn't give a damn about baseball but once every 10 years.
Right.
When the Rockies just happen to like be good.
Their
And
prime
yet they
time was
named
like
them-
Larry Walker and Todd Helton on a team.
They had that
Yeah,
World
it was-
Series 07.
Yeah, it was like 07 where they just like
Mhm.
went on a crazy run to get the pennant. But yeah, no,
Red
it
Sox too much. The
yeah, that's
pitch
funny.
outside for a ball for Heineman, who was batting .406. I think he actually gave the Mariners some problems in the last series at the Rogers Center. Now the 1-0. Now here's a fly ball drilled to right field, and that is hooking. And that
Ooh,
Tavares
it's
caught
hot.
it.
Is that Leotis Tavares
Leotis
Mhm.
Tavares. Leody Tavares
from the Rangers?
Yeah,
From the
Yep.
Rangers?
Yep.
claimed him.
Yeah, I
Luis
heard- I
Castillo
saw
thought it
that.
was gone. That's why I thought I was like, oh yeah, that baby's gone. Nope, not this time.
Oh, an old friend
See,
is
I'm-
batting. Clase.
Oh,
Jonathan
Clase.
Clase, who the Mariners traded away to get Yimi Garcia, and sadly, Yimi Garcia had injury issues. The pitch, and that is
And he's back on
outside
the
for a
Jays.
ball.
Is
Yeah.
he back with Toronto?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's funny when that happens.
Sweet, sweet.
Gave up a top 10 prospect for it. The pitch.
And the
It's a ball too.
Yeah, but
Mariners
it's a
could use some
prospect
bullpen
that
help.
Yeah, it's a prospect
They don't
that
get Garcia
they didn't
again.
necessarily care about. Yeah, they wouldn't. Yeah.
2-0.
It would be funny if they trade for
Garcia
Garcia again.
Yes. But who are they going to give up this time? Harry Ford? If they get that
Who's
desperate.
the next Class A in the minor leagues? Who is Class A and
Oh,
Tacoma right now?
Rylan Thomas.
There we
the
go. Yeah,
2-1.
Rylan Thomas for Garcia.
No, it's foul balls. Strike two. I mean, let's look at the
So,
top 10 prospects.
Yeah. So how are the top 10 doing? The prospects doing this
Let's
in
look.
May now?
Cole Emerson's doing pretty good. Cole Young's picked it up. Lazaro Montez hitting bombs. The pitch, 3-2. Harry Ford hasn't really done much. Spelling Celestine, I think he'll put butts in the seats when he gets to Everett. Johnny Farmelo's on fire.
Celestine's been awesome.
And now the 3-2. Now here's a ground ball right to the second baseman. Throw to first in time. That was a quick one. Castillo's kind of settling down this inning this time.
I still have a hard time believing this team is this good right now.
I don't
when I
blame
look
you
at
for
It's tough
saying it.
for us.
You know, like when you look at the defensive alignment of this team, I'm shaking my head like but kudos to the Mariners for catching fire there.
9 series in a row, but we all know that this team is far from being like an actual legitimate World Series contender. There's still holes to fill. Now here's a ground ball foul. Like Mariners, I hate to say it, they got lucky with Ben Williamson. Like Ben Williamson could have gone either way.
Mm. Yeah,
luckily-
but he looked good though. There's spring training good, and then you see guys that have looked like they've been there for 5 years already.
I mean, Ben Williamson got a base hit on his debut.
Yeah, he looks like he's just got that it factor.
0-2. Nope, that ain't gonna sell it. Not even close to sell. But Cal Raleigh really tried to sell that against Bo Bichette, who's at 1-2, who drew the walk last inning. As we're at
He got rid of
Bo Bichette.
he got rid of the mullet.
1-2. And it's
Yeah.
a foul ball. You talk about the big hair?
Yeah, dude, he got rid of his mullet.
Yeah, he did.
What's up with this Nick Swisher clean cut look that he's got rocking?
Now it's
That
1-2.
worked
Castillo going
Nick's-
to be on pitch 47. And now the 1-2. Now here's a liner, and that's going to be a base hit to left field. And Bo Bichette gets on base, continues to make problems.
When Nick Swisher came up with the A's, he had that long hair. He looked like you can catch him on a bass boat on the weekends. You know, And then he goes to the Yankees. You're like, what happened to Nick Swisher?
That's what he
What
like,
happened
that's
to-
what he looks like.
What about Johnny Damon, Jason Giambi? They all had to cut their hairs too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
When I
Johnny
think of
Damon was like a
Swish-
hobo in Boston.
When I think of Swisher and Giambi, I think of the word greasy. They always look so greasy. Like it just the hair was always that long, like
Yeah. 100%. I remember seeing Nick Swisher when he played for the Sacramento River Cats on his way up to the bigs, and they were playing Tacoma, and he hit this bomb that hit the tennis courts up at Foss High School. Like it was a bomb to right field. That was like, good Lord, man, that dude's got power.
Yeah.
That's
Ouch,
that's a
the
poke,
Rockies
man.
gave
That's like
up a home run to Martin Maldonado.
that's like a 450-foot poke up to those tennis courts
yeah.
up there at Foss High School, man.
And now we're at 0-1.
The Rockies gave up a dinger to Martin Maldonado. Oh boy.
Yeah, Rockies are quite an exciting
bless the
team to
Rockies.
watch, aren't they? As we're at 0-1 and the pitch, and that's going to be outside for a ball. I mean, that's the other question too, is if the Mariners do keep up with how they're playing, like, does that warrant extensions for the likes of
Nope.
Jerry DiPoto and Dan Wilson? And I just lost my feed for a moment. We didn't miss much because it was just outside for a ball, 2-1.
Well, if the Mariners win the division, he's probably your AL manager of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
I
the
don't know
team
what
that he
their
had to work
contracts
with.
are.
I think he's on a year to year, just like
Mm.
like when you're releasing, it's like a month to month thing. As we're at 2-1, that's
I think
outside
he's
for
only
a
on
ball.
one. I think he was on the end of last year plus the 2025 season. So I think it was like a year and change. But yeah. But
I think DiPoto is
first,
on I think he's on a 1 year. They didn't say anything about a long-term extension.
if they choke
Sometimes
this
they
off,
don't,
then
though.
3-1.
Yeah.
Now here's a ground ball, could be double play ball to second. Oh wait, it's already 2 outs. What was I
It was 2 outs.
thinking?
32 outs.
It could have been a double play ball if there was only one out. So you weren't
One
wrong.
out.
It could have been.
That
And
will
that
retire the side.
the side.
No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left on. And yeah, we'll go into Kevin Kirby. Do you think the Mariners won? So the Mariners gave up Edwin Arroyo, who's not really done much, and Noevi Marte has already got suspended. If one of those players actually panned out, it would have been a push. So I think by default, the Mariners, for now, have won the trade. For now,
It's tough because like Marte swing the bat well. It's a trade that was meant to be Mariners win short term and the Reds can win long term. There's a chance in 10 years, absolutely the Reds win that trade. But the point for the Mariners was they were making the playoffs. And Castillo, listen, no matter what Castillo does, he absolutely was a huge part of that team making a run in 22. So I don't know if that trade is going to have a winner or loser. It's hard to say that. So I think if Marte turns out well, I think it's good for both teams. That's the point of those trades.
Arroyo has injury issues. He hasn't really played much at all.
I would say that from a Mariner perspective, it's kind of aged a little bit like vinegar because he has yet to replicate the second half of 2022 in any of the subsequent seasons. So it's interesting, right? From a Reds perspective, like you can't even we're not even at that point where you could even tell if it's even worked out for the Reds yet. So I think Jay, you're 100% right. Yeah.
Exactly.
And the flip side is the Mariners had the luxury to give up their 2 hot shot prospects because they had Cole Young just drafted. They were on the verge of signing Felmy and Celestine, so they felt that they were okay to do that. And then they had plans to draft Colt Emerson the next year, so they were willing to pull the trigger. Just same reasons why Mariners should do the same thing with their current prospects to get a star level player, as long as they can make up for it, which they have been.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. I love the excuses, right? Nobody wants to trade for prospects. It's like, dude, are you insane? Like, are you really trying to sell me on the idea that nobody wants to take our prospects? You have to be kidding me, right? It's like, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter if they're an A ball or double A. It does not matter. Like top level prospects that every team wants and every team covets, you're going to be able to find a buyer for those guys. It doesn't. It doesn't matter if it's. It doesn't matter if the Dodgers or it's the Yankees, whatever the case may be. Knowing that you actually have a dude that's supposed to be a perennial all-star coming down the pipe in 2 seasons.
1-1.
Most teams want those type of prospects.
Low for a ball, 2-1. This is the torpedo boy, Cal Raleigh, up to the plate. Cal Raleigh, I believe he is still leading the major leagues in home runs, probably just tied with them. So I think Aaron Judge has caught up with them a bit.
He leads the league in home runs, RBIs, and total facial hair.
No, Serrano was total baldness.
Yeah, he's the Triple Crown leader, and he leads the league in nose hair. When this dude sneezes, he looks like a party favor.
The legendary Clue Haywood, who helped get the Yankees' butts in the seats, the 2-2, and that's a foul ball.
Oh, Cal, what are you reaching for, bud?
I know.
Yeah, he's tied with Aaron Judge for home runs.
By the way,
Kyle Schwarber.
I think my ex-wife has a huge crush on Cal Raleigh. I think there's something about left-handed swinging power hitting catchers that my ex-wife just fawns over. She always texts me about him.
2-2.
Did you see Cal tonight? No, sweetie.
Yes, I saw it.
We're at 2-2. Cal Raleigh's batting 246. Batting average is higher than it was last year, if I'm correct.
Yeah, but he's not going to be the guy that's going to hit 270 or above. He's going to be that 245 to 260 guy with 30 bombs, which is still amazing.
Hitting wise, that reminds me of Andrew Jones. He had low averages, but he made up with like 30, 40 bombs.
Can you guys believe that this dude re-upped with the Mariners right now?
I can't believe that. The 2-2. And that's going to be popped up, and that's going to not even
incentive. There was no incentive for it, though. That's the crazy thing. It's
catch.
Like he held all the leverage, and then he re-ups for 5 years.
I guess he just wanted to get it over with. He didn't want to work with Scott Boras because he saw some of his clients get the contracts lesser than they should have.
Yeah, but those dudes were already in their 30s in the market for ball players over the age of 30. There's just no market. There's no market like they used to be. But that being said, Cal Raleigh is like, 26, 27. So he's about to come into his first free agent contract. That dude would have got on the open market. That dude would have gotten paid. But, he's more valuable to the Mariners than on the open market. I guess that extension reflects it. But
the pitch to Randy Rosarena, foul ball.
The interesting thing was
hasn't done much.
When what's his bucket rejected an extension last offseason.
Logan Gilbert.
That one was kind of shocking.
Did he? I didn't know he rejected one. I know Kellenic did when he first came up or something, but I didn't know Logan did.
0-1.
Yeah,
that was right down the middle for a strike.
That last offseason, the Mariners offered him an extension, and he said no.
Nah.
Well, judging by the, sometimes I wonder if they lowballed him.
Oh, I'm sure.
Most likely the pitch outside for a ball. And for the Kelnick thing, that's what led to Kevin Mather losing his job, because he said not only did he brag about Kelnick not re-sign that extension, saying that he bet against himself, then he makes insults to Kyle Seager, Iwasashi Wakuma, Julio Rodriguez, the pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to the shortstop Bichette, throw to first. And that
he was making friends everywhere.
Yeah, I will say Mather did say, though, that hey, he's betting on himself, and he may be right. I think he did say that. That was actually probably the least of his wrong things.
That was just the tip of the iceberg. The Julio and the interpreter comments was what ignited, and Kyle Seager.
And now looking back, Jared Kelenic wishes he actually would have signed that extension, right?
Oh, yes.
He bet on himself and lost.
He did.
So at least Kevin Mather was right. And we got a bunting attempt by Rowdy Tellez.
Snake eyes.
On 2 outs? No, on 2 outs, you just hit the crap out of that thing.
I'm surprised Rowdy Tellez is still on the roster.
I am too, but
he's hit some bombs. He's been a little better, yeah.
He makes up for it. He's been batting 275 since I crapped on him to 0-1. And that is 1-1. Donovan Solano, on the other hand, has to get it going.
that dude's looking like he's looking for a hamburger.
He is or a big taco burrito.
Now he's like, nah, bacon.
The 1-1.
So
What? Swing and a
miss.
miss in the dirt.
Go back to bunting.
Keep swinging, Rowdy. You just might give that
just wants
pitcher a
that.
cold.
He just wants that home run. When he's swinging like that.
Jesus.
We're at 1-2.
I think the over-under I had on Tellez was 2 months.
Yeah, you might lose that
I
one.
thought it was going to be like by
Swing
the
and
end
a
of
miss,
May.
strike 3, and that's going to retire the side. We go to the top of the 3rd inning, and no hits for the Mariners and no walks.
Yeah.
It's been 6 in a row so far for the Gosman.
That's funny. He's looking for a Whopper.
He needs that Whopper.
He called it the Burger King bunt.
He calls him the Burger King.
The Hamburglar.
Can't believe it.
Do you guys think that if like shirts were optional, he wouldn't wear one?
If shirts were optional, he wouldn't wear.
That's a beer league.
Yeah, start calling him Randy.
Yeah.
Just looking at all the commercials. They're advertising all their food.
Rubble. What's up, Hamburglar?
What's up, Josh? And your comedy.
he called it the Burger King bunt.
Yeah, he did. Now they're talking about
Have it
T-Mobile.
your way.
BK, have it your way.
That's hilarious. He calls him the Burger King.
It works. Oh my gosh, Josh is having a. He's just having a laughing sesh.
Man, that's classic.
Ford employee pricing. I don't even buy Ford.
What's your take at swinging at the first pitch strike, or do you take one because the? I've always believed if you get a first pitch fastball and it's something you can get a hold of, you should definitely swing at it. I know a lot of coaches don't like that because they think that if you're going to get one, they'll see another one in a different situation in the count. But that being said, you also might not. So if you have a good contact hitter, that can mix in a little power. Yeah. If you see one, swing one.
And we are back from the break. We got Varsho. I called him the Varsho, the 1-0, and a swing and a miss, and that is strike 1. Hey, Josh, how's Altuve in left field? Is he still playing left field? As we're at 1-1, the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball, strike 2. Good to get him on strike 2, though.
I don't know, man. Barshow has just got that swing, that classic smooth swing. I don't know, man.
And now we're at 1-2.
But he's
And
like
now
a
the
solid
pitch.
240 hitter.
And now here's a fly ball to deep right center field. Not so deep. And Julio calls in. He makes the catch with his teal glove.
That dude pisses me off so much.
What? Julio?
Julio? Yeah, dude. That dude pisses me off.
I work in childcare, and when I run recess games playing baseball, this is what I do. I go, hey, guys, before we play, you guys want to hear a baseball joke? What? Julio Rodriguez. The pitch. And that is inside. And then some other kids were like, hey, you said Jorge Polanco's bad. And I just said, can he keep up? The 1-0.
Ooh, that's a strike.
And that is a
I
strike,
thought
yeah.
the same thing.
It looks like your feed is actually on par with mine.
I know, for the first time ever.
And we're at 1-1 on George Springer. 58 pitches for Castillo, and now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball and right to J.P. Crawford. Throw over the first.
Nice play.
That is in time.
Castillo settling in a bit, looking better here.
Yeah, I just looked a little bit stiff. And now it's gonna be the next guy. It's gonna be Barger, the one who. Next guy's gonna be Barger, the one who hit the 2 RBI double.
Yeah.
Other than that, Mariners could have been out of that inning if Rowdy Tellez's arm was longer. The pitch, and now here's a line drive to left field, and that is going to be a base hit. He is going to go to second base, and that's going to be another double.
That dude is killing Castillo. That dude was just
Barger
absolutely murdering him.
must have his numbers.
But there it is. Fastball, first pitch. Boink. Little two-seamer.
Yep.
Out over the plate. Goes the other way. Love seeing that. I love seeing players go the other way. Use the
Those are the deadly ones.
Use the entire field.
It's like Edgar Martinez would do, and basically any baseball player should do. And if you're a softball player, use every bit of field you can. And now here's Clement with that dorky batting stance to pitch. And here's a ground ball foul. The only thing Julio has going for him is that he hasn't struck out in 6 games and has more bombs than usual. Still not saying much. It's like saying the shit that I took last night is better than the shit that I took better than what I took the week before. So it's not really saying much. He still has to get it going.
So what you're saying is you still took a shit?
Yeah, the pitch. So Julio's still that. Sorry, it's like when you're hyped to be the superstar, you got to meet those expectations. And he's not even doing that right now. Now we're at 1-1.
That contract killed him, man.
I want to say it didn't. The 1-1. Now here's a liner to right field, and that is going to drop in for a base hit, and Barger is going to score, and that's going to make it 3-0 Blue Jays on a single by the Blue Jays.
I shouldn't have said he's settling in. Right as I said that, double single 3-0.
It's all right. We once said that Mitch Haniger was a fundamentally sound outfield than Teoscar Hernandez, and he bobbles a ball.
He had like 2 errors in the same play when
Honestly,
we said it.
I think we sealed his fate for the rest of his career after that statement.
Kevin Kirby, worst batting stat, Clement or Jacob Wilson?
I think Clement.
Clement.
Yeah,
at least Jacob Wilson, at least he backs up his supposedly bad swing because he's off to a good start with the A's.
You know who had
and hit 2 home runs in spring training.
You know who had the ugliest batting stance, but also at the same time one of the cleanest swings?
Tony Bautista?
No. Although that was pretty goddamn horrible. There were 2. It was John Valentin back in the day had an ugly batting stance, but actually ended up having a pretty sweet swing. And Eric Sogard, do you remember that dude?
No.
I remember Valentin had a very crouched, didn't he? Kind of like
but then he would bend his knees right as the pitch was being delivered, and it was the weirdest thing ever. And Eric Sogard had this funky left-handed stance that looked horrible, but then when he swung the bat, you're kind of like,
up high for a ball. Here's my favorite ugly batting stance. Oh wait, hold on.
Counsel.
Craig Counsell.
Craig Counsell.
Yeah.
I heard that I heard he stopped doing it because it started hurting him. The wear and tear as he got older.
Well, he was almost out of the game before he switched to that stance. Because if you remember, Counsell had a normal stance when he was
and a fly ball to deep right center field. And that is gone. That is a home run for the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays are completely just running away with it. That is Nathan Lukes with a 2-run home run. You think so, huh?
And that's the ball game.
Yeah, are they going to come back from 5-0 back-to-back games? That's going to be hard to do. So
it's going to be tough.
Looks like one you flush out, and you hope you get it tomorrow. But man, disappointing to come home. And Castillo's been awful. I mean, he's been terrible tonight. No doubt about that.
Terrible tonight.
Mariners aren't exactly the best Friday team.
Well, I'll say this: if they can respond next inning by getting at least 1 on the board, then I'll probably retract what I just said. But if they go down 1-2-3 again the next inning, it's pretty. It's a pretty tall task to do it against like Osman.
This is a typical bad Castillo game. He's at 68 pitches already, and I think the bullpen's going to get busy.
It's the 3rd.
It's funny when you get to this point. Now I would just make him eat 100 pitches. You know what I mean? Now you get to the point where there's really no point to make him. If he can go 6 at 105, 110, just make him do it.
The worst part is that was on 2 outs as well as we
go right when I said I was settling in.
It's all you, Jay Trine. You know, I gotta find that piece where you said that. So maybe that was about 4 minutes ago, maybe, or
I mean, literally, I said it double, single, home run. I was like, he's pitch count's getting in line a little bit. Maybe you can go 5 innings, 2 runs, bloop and a blast, we tie it, and then double base hit. the home run.
I
and
just need your
feels like game
consent.
over.
So maybe I'll do something where Jay
You
Tribe
have
goes,
it.
okay. So he's like, Castillo's finally saying it. Oh, home run. And I go, tried. Dang it. But I still love you, man. Follow his channel.
If only I had the powers to control what happened on the field, we would have a lot of Mariners World Series championships.
I know. If we can play tonight's game like a game of MLB Live or so, MLB The Show,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
I think we may end the career of Luis Castillo because we ended Mitch Haniger's career, and now we're about to end La Piedra. Luis F. Castillo, can you come back? We at least need the name. We need the brand.
Bring back the Pebble.
I feel bad for Mitch, man. That was my guy. For like next to Seager, that was my guy. And it's just the injuries just broke him down.
My guy was Felix, and I felt horribly for him.
Yeah.
I like the way
that they got rid of Kyle Seager too. That was classy, right? Telling him he's done via email. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, they didn't even do it in person or anything like that.
I mean, it doesn't get any classier than finding out you lost your job via Twitter.
That one's worse. And the worst part is we wanted him fired. I wanted him fired, but I hated how they did it because that sends a bad message to the rest of the league.
No, it shows you what a prick Jerry DeProto is.
Yeah, backstabbed his own friend. Obviously, getting in late hasn't hurt the Blue Jays. I guess so. And now we're back from the break, and we got Leody Taveras, who saved the day for the Mariners the other day. And people got so excited. They're like, is this the genius signing? I'm like, bro, calm down. It's just one game.
No, man, it's the quintessential scrap heap signing. Man, DePoto loves his DFAs, man.
He does. And Taveras is at 241 with 1 home run and 9 RBIs off of the Texas Rangers. Kevin Gausman's really been dealing. And now we're at 1-0 the pitch. And that's going to be a strike. Maybe I can say this is omen and fate. The last time the Blue Jays jumped off to a big lead like this with Kevin Gausman pitching, what exactly happened after that?
Where's Carlos Santana?
Where is
Cleveland?
Adam Frazier? The 1-1.
Pittsburgh, right?
Up in foul. No, he's in Kansas City.
They're all Cleveland.
Kansas City?
I think Frazier's... No, I think he's in Pittsburgh. I think Frazier's... He was in Kansas. I think he's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he went back to Pittsburgh, yeah. Smart.
Yeah, I think he did. Rooftop in your defense has been 4 different teams since that year, so...
He's a journeyman.
Well, let's see. He went to Baltimore in 2023, and then last year he was in KC, and this year he's in Pittsburgh. All right, that's cool. Yeah, I thought it was quite embarrassing that we couldn't re-sign Carlos Santana. He chose Cleveland over Seattle.
Because he knew the red flags of the organization anyway.
The red flags. He's looking
at 1 and 2.
He's choosing his team like a Tinder.
And now here's a fly ball popped up to right field. It could be dropping. They're still running. Nope, they're going to make the catch.
Although, in fairness, I think Santana's been pretty bad this year, so it might have been a unintentional bullet dodged. Yeah. Unless he's heated up. This was 3 weeks ago I saw his numbers, so he might be heating up. I don't know.
Nothing will ever beat Tom Landry being fired when a reporter asked him his thoughts on being fired.
Yeah, they did Landry dirty in Dallas.
No, Bill Bavasi actually got an exit press conference for his firing.
Yeah, I remember that, actually.
Now here's Dylan Moore.
And he went off on Bedard in that one.
God damn it. Dude, I hitched myself to Bedard. Damn it.
We're at 0-1 for Dylan Moore, batting .295. And now the pitch.
Yeah, that dude had heart eyes over. Yeah, that dude had heart eyes all over Bedard.
Yeah, which is why they gave up the whole farm for pretty much. Plus George Sherrill and Chris Tillman and Adam Jones and Cam McColio for shits and giggles.
Cam McColio.
Oh, that's what his name. I said McColio in my video.
I kind of wanted them to keep McColio. I thought he was actually pretty good.
So we're at 1 and 2 for Dylan Moore. And now the pitch. And that is low for a ball 2 and 2.
I wonder who the next DFA signing is going to be, because the Mariners prioritize their bullpen like the Seahawks prioritize their offensive line.
Does anyone think that? Okay, how about this? Would you, to help the outfield depth, as I'll ask after this pitch by Kevin Gausman to Dylan Moore, the 2-2 pitch, and now here's a fly ball, and is that fair to deep left field?
Get on it!
Is that a home run? That's
that
foul.
really curved. I thought that was fair. That thing really went left. It was like a hook ball shot there at the end.
I thought it was gonna hook it. I thought it was gonna hook around. I was like, oh.
I did too.
I should turn up the volume just a little bit just to see what Aaron Goldsmith is saying, or Adam. I don't even know anymore.
Ryan Rowland Smith, mate.
The hyphen.
Never trust a man with 2 last names.
Nope. What about 2 first names? Cliff Lee.
That's what I always thought it was. 2
pitch.
first names. You can't trust 2 first names.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and down goes Dylan Moore. So my question is, Jared Kelenic got sent down to AAA. Everyone hates him now. Now that he's cheap, would you consider bringing him back? Or do you think the bridge is already burned?
Oh, there's no way you bring Kelenic back into this clubhouse. Like, this team is playing well right now, so I would assume the clubhouse is actually kind of vibing right now. You know, they're feeling pretty good right now. So it's like, yeah, do you want to like just throw a complete wrench into that clubhouse right now?
Oh man, I just love this guy.
And they already went with Tavares. So
yeah.
And honestly, I'm just at the point where I just think Kelenic is what he is. He's kind of a 4A, fourth outfielder that can hit.
Ground ball base hit, and Ben Williamson has broken that perfect game as we got a man on first base, and it's gonna be up to JP Crawford. And JP Crawford, I'm giving you permission to try to hit that home run if you can.
Get back in it, chip away, like Steve said last inning.
By the way, how about it just a nice little rocket single into the gap somewhere, and maybe turn for 2 and see if you can get Williamson on his horse. Maybe he scores from first. This whole just hit a dinger thing. It's like, come on, man.
Polanco is clutch with runners in scoring position with 2 outs too. So there's a point there.
Chip
get
away.
on and
Now
chip
the
away.
pitch.
Exactly.
As we're at low 1-1. And remember, you don't have to hit a home run to be successful offensively in T-Mobile Park. As we're at 1-0. The 2001 Mariners would remind you that. As we're at 1-0. And now the pitch.
Proved otherwise.
Yeah, Mike Cameron figured it out. Ichiro, obviously, he loved T-Mobile Park.
Carlos Guillen, David Bell.
Brett Boone, Edgar Martinez. 1-1 for JP Crawford.
I hate
Kevin
Al Martin, by the way. I'll never forgive Al Martin.
1-1.
That was a weird stance. He always wiggled the bat really weird.
Did you know the Mariners were actually trying to get Juan Gonzalez at first, but then they didn't want to give up Joel Pinheiro and Gil Mesh. They're like, no, they're our future. Yeah.
But didn't Juan kind of suck at that point after that, though? So that actually might not have been a terrible no trade. I don't remember. When did Gonzalez drop off?
Oh, he dropped off because of injuries and he hated playing in Detroit.
Yeah, but Juan Gon went to Detroit and picked it back up though. Like I remember he was actually really good in Detroit. Yeah, he was really good in Detroit. Like maybe like a season he was really good in Detroit. But
I'll check.
That's the thing. If it was Joel Pinheiro straight up for Juan Gon, I probably would.
3-1. Now here's a ground ball, and that's gonna get right through for a base hit. And Ben Williams is going to third base, and we got runners in first and third. And you said it, Steve-O. Just chip away.
Yeah. You don't have to be cute. You don't have to be fancy. You don't have to hit home runs. You just have to put the ball on the goddamn ground.
Keep the line moving too.
Yeah.
Juan Gon actually batted .289 with 22 homers and 67 RBIs in 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember when he dropped off. It's always hard to remember what years, when it's 20, 25 years ago when guys like.
Yeah. Juan Gonzalez in like 98. 98, 99 when he was with Texas was just unbelievable.
Yeah. He hit 100 RBIs before the All-Star break, and the pitcher he hit against was Randy Johnson.
And I don't think he made the All-Star team too. Something weird, like he didn't even make it. That's how loaded the baseball was in the 90s.
Especially 98. He did make it. He made it.
Oh, did he? Okay.
And now here's Jorge Polanco, and maybe we should just be focused on Polanco because he does have the 2-out magic. you would think.
Oh,
The pitch. Now here's the ground ball, and that's going to get right through for a base hit. A runner
There it is.
Score, and Jorge Polanco helps the Mariners get on the board as we got J.P. Crawford who got to third base.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Yeah, his 1 year in Detroit was 2000. He hit 289 with an 842 OPS, 22 home runs, 67 RBIs, and the next year in Cleveland, he was just amazing.
That was his last starring role in his career. And we've got Julio Rodriguez and another good swing out of Julio. We're very much back into this game.
Julio reaches, tying run comes to the plate.
Yep. Julio doesn't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything too cute. You just have to get a guy in. Don't try to swing and kill a ball. Just get the guy
you
in.
know he is. By the way, you know he's going to do that, though. The table's set.
That's exactly what he's
out
going to do.
He's going to be swinging out of his goddamn shoes, and you know it.
You know what that Blue Jay coach? That Blue Jay coach said to him, was like, "Hey, it's Julio. Relax.
Fastball's up, dude. Fastball's up, dude. That's it. Throw a fastball up anywhere in the zone, and he's going to try to kill that baseball. He's going to look stupid doing it too.
He always does. Like when he's the way he swings, it's like, bro, relax. Stop that."
Now, mind you, I've never given up on Julio. I just think that that dude needs to show so much more plate discipline and maturity.
Which he does lack, and it's pretty sad because Bobby Witt Jr. is already ahead of him on maturity. And now the pitch.
Oh, he gets a fastball, though.
And he still tried to murder it.
Yeah, he did. And he was late, too.
Julio in his last 10 games, though, if it makes you feel better, 302 with an 897 OPS, only an 11% strikeout rate, 3 home runs. But those numbers don't matter if you can't perform today.
No, that actually didn't make me feel better whatsoever.
The 0-1 and low for a ball. He looked tempted to swing at that one.
He did. Gosman's motion always looks like a balk to me.
Well, I guess that's a pretty decent spray chart right there. Still,
wow, that's a really high flying single right there by Julio in that chart.
Yeah.
As we're at 1-1 now the pitch. Check swinging at the dirt, man. At the dirt, Julio.
It's all pull hit. It's really all geared to his pull side, though.
Mm-hmm.
This really proves that Mariners need another superstar caliber player eventually, because Julio, I hate to say, he's just not a number 1 guy. He's a number 2 or 3 at best. I hate saying it, but I'm going to say it.
You said it.
Well, this is I would say frustrating at bat because hopefully he comes through still, but you got Cal on deck here. You want to get Cal up as the tying run. So
yeah, which is why I'm like, just poke it somewhere and let Cal Raleigh finish the job with his torpedo bat. You got to think strategy sometimes.
I think Cal has actually ascended to being this offensive.
The 1-2.
Yeah.
Now here's a ground ball foul.
Just foul.
Do you think this is the year that Cal Raleigh can make the All-Star game? I think he has a great opportunity to do it this season.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
Well, still some time to go, but yeah.
Maybe voted.
I don't know. Like if Cal has like a 35 home run season and he's kind of like in that little 260 range, and he finishes the season, we can actually start talking about Cal for a potential MVP.
100%.
We're at 1 and 2 for Julio.
And I do think that Cal has emerged.
The 1-2 pitch. Now here's a liner to left field, and that is caught by the third baseman. You can't blame Julio for that. It's just that the third baseman just happened to be there.
Dude, that's what's his name? The dude that absolutely murdered
Barger.
Dude, he's everywhere.
He's the killer.
Dude, he's everywhere.
Oh boy. Well, the Mariners did get a run, but it just feels so unfulfilling because they should have scored more runs on that. That's easily 2-run double, and then Cal Raleigh could have been there to be like, we'll tie this ball game.
So, for the first time in over 3,000 days, the Astros have defeated the Reds. Can I be honest with you, Josh? I don't care. I really don't care.
But you cared to comment.
3,256 days to be exact. Why does that matter? That the Astros defeated the Reds?
Because he loves his Astros.
Well, I understand, but if you would have told me 3,256 days since they beat the Yankees or something like that, that would have been pretty cool. But it's the Reds, man.
The Reds.
Since 2016. They haven't defeated them since 2016. The winning pitcher was Hunter Brown back in 2016, had just graduated high school. That's interesting.
Man,
Dude,
make
I'm
me
getting
feel
old.
I graduated in 2010, and what a time that was.
What a time to be alive, man. Obama's first term. I graduated in Clinton's last term.
I graduated high school, and that was the first time I had to learn that when someone's busy, she's not interested. That was the first time I ever got that. So
Say it again.
Oh, you know the
first time
whole,
you got
hey,
what?
do you want to go on this date? Oh, I can't, I'm busy. Yeah, I had to learn that the hard way. My naivety was really high back then.
Your naivety.
That was how 2010 was explained. Like
I'm
2010
shampooing
was
my
like
hair.
my 2010 was like Murphy's Law. It was like everything that went wrong went wrong. The 01, and that is low for a ball.
I'm trying to think, did I have a year like that? Yeah, I think I did.
2010 was my Murphy Law year.
Where it rained, when it rained, it poured.
Yeah, very much. And then on top of that, watching the Mariners suck eggs.
Cliff Leaf.
Oh,
Ooh.
Thunder making their first playoff appearance. See, everything went. So the only redeeming factor of 2010 was the Seahawks making the playoffs off a 7-9 record.
Beastquake.
As we're at 1-2 to Clase, the pitch.
Oh, you're
Now
talking
here's a
about
fly
Oklahoma
ball
City.
to left field, and that is Randy Arozarena who catches it.
I was like, for a second, I was like, who are the Thunder? Oh, I got you now.
They are making a good playoff run so far, but sometimes the thing is, I don't think the uproar will be as significant because all the basketball fans now are the Gen Zs and Alphas, and hardly any of them existed when the Sonics were around, so they don't really have much emotional investment as much as we do.
We're so far removed from the Seattle Supersonics that it's actually now just Oklahoma City, and it doesn't matter. Like back when Kevin Durant and James Harden and Westbrook made
That
it
was
to the
more understandable.
Western Conference Finals, and nearly made it. Yeah, that was still kind of fresh. Now it's like I just whatever.
I kind of thought of this, but because Seattle and Oklahoma shared a history, if Oklahoma, now the pitch outside for a ball, if Oklahoma wins, by law, Seattle shares a championship with Oklahoma City because of shared history.
Yeah, but we're not claiming it, dude.
No, of course not, but it'll be funny.
Yeah, not one game of that championship winning season was played in Seattle. So,
well, maybe they should have went to Key Arena for a preseason game, or I'm sorry, Climate Pledge.
Well, the interesting thing, yeah, that would really.
2-1.
By the way, if the NBA did that, that would be like the ultimate dick move. Like have the Thunder play in a preseason game in Seattle. Yeah,
but it would still
really
get butts.
well.
It would still get butts in the seats,
would.
so Seattle fans can just boo.
Yeah, it
so.
It would.
So yeah, it's a dick move, but we'll still feed the problem.
But the shared history thing is great because I know that Oklahoma
now here's a
City
ground ball
to...
right to shortstop. Oh, Crawford, the throw to first. Oh no,
What?
It went right past him. It was a good attempt, but now Bichette gets to second base.
Yeah, like the shared history thing. It's like I remember when Oklahoma City wanted to retire the number of Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, and they said thanks. Yeah, but no, we're good.
I heard even the fans were like, "Nah, we're good. We want our own thing." Even the fans didn't even care enough for that. They're like, "Who's Sean Kemp and Gary Payton?"
Yeah, they're like, "Nah, we didn't play one game of our career down there."
I actually have like a Oklahoma like page, so I follow them, and when they hear Seattle, they're like, "We don't care about Seattle. They can have their own thing. It's not ours." Even they're just as crazy as we are.
It'll happen one day.
Now here's a fly ball to right field, and Tavares is there, and he makes the catch. If it does happen, I want them to tank for 5 years.
They will tank for 5 years. They'll be an expansion team.
That's what I want. I want a chance to get a generational talent. I don't want to be like 35 and 47 like for 5 straight years like the Ray Allen Sonics did. No thanks. I don't need mediocrity. In NBA, you have to tank.
Hey,
Football,
whoa. But for one glorious year in 2004, we were a Pacific Division
2004,
champions.
2005, Ray Allen, Rashard Lewis, Jerome James, baby.
Danny Fortson, baby. Danny
Antonio
Fortson.
Daniels, the pitch to Varsho, inside for a ball.
I was so upset with Lauren Jackson when I heard
Why?
the news that because her and Danny Fortson, I was like, God, that gorgeous woman,
What? She had it with Danny Fortson?
Danny Fortson.
Now here's a ground ball. They had a thing. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Good to know. As we're at 1-1.
Apparently, she digs other power forwards. Who knew?
I guess so. As we're at 1-1, and the pitch.
Point guard. She
Up
spits
high
on
for a
point
ball.
guards.
Speak of, poor Sheldon Williams. He had Candace Parker, and Candace Parker left him badly, from what I heard.
Mm.
And now we're at 2-1.
Well, it's in the name, right? Sheldon. Sheldon can do your taxes, but Sheldon can't do any humping and pumping. You know, like ride me big Sheldon. It doesn't work, man. Sheldon's your dentist.
No wonder it didn't work. As Varsho is at 0-2.
Give it to me, Sheldon. Ride me big Sheldon. It just doesn't work.
Oh, look. Josh giving us some NHL updates.
Woo, Dallas and Winnipeg.
The 2-2. And now here's a liner and foul. And speak of hockey, I really want to go back to some T-Birds games next season and Everett.
How did the worst team name in professional sports, how did the Kraken do?
They didn't even make the playoffs, and I hate the name Kraken. It just doesn't speak to me.
It has, yeah, dude. It's like let's call the team something that has nothing to do with the Pacific Northwest. Okay,
no, it does not. And that swing and a miss, strike 3 that will retire the side. We had a little bit of a scare.
Apparently, it had something to do with the lore of the lore of Elliott Bay and like some octopus, some giant octopus in Elliott Bay. I don't know.
Sounds like a nerd overthinking things.
I wanted them to buy the team name rights from the Thunderbirds and have the Thunderbirds skate on Key Arena ice, but
I would have digged that. Would have been free advertising for the Thunderbirds too.
Well, the Thunderbirds would have to change their name because they would lose their naming rights.
So are the Thunderbirds like a minor league team, or what is that league? They're
WHL.
They're a junior hockey.
They are 2 tiers below the NHL.
Okay, so what's the next tier from them?
3 tiers, because you have the IHL and the AHL, which is like AA and AAA hockey, and then you have juniors. So juniors are not, so they're not professional. They're made up of high school kids. But that being said, they're a part of the Canadian Hockey League, which oversees 4 different leagues, and all of them play in the Memorial Cup. That's like their Stanley Cup. But yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
So are they like going into the draft potentially? Or they're not. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If only they had the rights to Metropolitans, but the owner wants more money than NHL was going to offer. I guess so.
They did have the right. They did have the rights to the Nets, and that was one of the names they put up, and it lost out to the Kraken.
Out of all things, we lost to the Kraken. Okay, what's worse, Charlotte Bobcats or Seattle Kraken?
Bobcats.
Kraken.
Oh, he thinks Kraken's worse.
Yeah, I think the Kraken's worse.
Oh my God! It could have been worse. Randy Rosarena poser bobblehead night. The poser.
It could have been worse though, because we could have been the Sockeyes. But that actually is better, because at least that actually is something that is Pacific Northwest centric, because there is salmon runs and everything like that. But still.
Now here's big dumper Cal Raleigh, the pitch. Oh, swing and a miss, and you could tell that he wanted that home run.
Swing and a miss.
Cal Raleigh's 0 for 1. 48 pitches for Gosman. He's been mostly efficient with the exception of the last inning. And the pitch. And that is low for a ball, 1-1. It's gonna be a long game to say the least. We're at 1-1. Cal Raleigh's got to make some kind of magic happen. And now the pitch. Now here's a liner, and that is fouled.
Cal Raleigh.
And Steve, understandably so. I saw your message. Yeah. I get it. You're in Detroit time.
Yeah, I'm in good old-fashioned East Coast time.
But consider that lighting. I think that lighting is a lot better for you for your appearances and your channel.
Yeah.
I like it. Sometimes darker in the background's better than everything lit up.
Yeah, but you can't see the deuce behind me, man.
Well, pick your poison. The 1-2.
Because
And that's a foul ball.
Jay's rocking the junior and the easily behind him, right? But I'm going full Clint Dempsey.
And I got the Beast Mode and Lord Vader and a Pizza Planet shirt.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Two great things.
Lord Vader.
I
have that same Vader statue in our closet.
Mine's like 40 inches tall. I got this thing at Value Village for like $40. I felt like I stole this thing.
Does it do the voice if you hit the buttons?
Ba, 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 da.
You can barely hear him. Kind of broken. And now the 1-2. And that's a foul ball, and Cal Raleigh's still fighting it off.
Yeah, the Mets is a bit of a hard one because in Canada, the NHL owns the rights and name, but in the USA, a Korean, I think, owns the rights and name. He sells merchandise and is currently suing the Kraken. Oh, okay.
I honestly hope he wins. I want a different name. And now the pitch. And now here's a blooper to center and caught by Bo Bichette.
Jay,
feels like one of those nights. Yep.
So now that this game is kind of comfortably in Toronto's favor, I got to ask you a question off topic, man. How did you think the Seahawks did in the draft?
So I'll be honest, I've gone more casual with my Seahawks fandom. I'm trying not to overthink it because I do with baseball now. And I'm kind of like, it takes up so much energy. I liked it. They needed offensive line. So I love Gray Zabel. I don't know him as a prospect, but I love going offensive line. I like taking a flyer on a quarterback in the draft. So just from the positions,
Sam Darnold.
So from positional standpoint, I like it. I just couldn't tell you I've been watching Emin War. You know what I mean? So from that aspect, I thought it was a good draft. I kind of they need to get better in the trenches. That's been my thing with the Hawks. They did it last year on defense. The D-line was better. The O-line was a mess. I want this team to get back to physical football, and hopefully this was a start.
So we're at 1-1. They need a new running back too, because I don't think Kenneth Walker is going to be the guy going forward. 1-1 and a swing and a miss. That was right down the middle.
Kenneth Walker.
Kind of has injury problems. And Zach Charbonnet, I'm not sure about him yet.
Yeah. What about Zach Chardonnay?
Not really sure. I don't think the Seahawks even drafted running back. The pitch, and that's a foul ball.
They did. They drafted Martinez from Miami. It's so hard to tell with Walker and Charbonnet because the line's been so bad. Like Steve, to your point earlier with the DFA and the offensive line, so it's hard to really judge them. I want to see him. I mean, I still don't think the line's going to be that great,
the pitch,
but it should be at least
better.
So we'll see.
I did like the quarterback move because it could be the Russell Wilson, Matt Flynn situation again. You never know.
It does have that vibe.
As we're at 2-2.
I don't know, man. You bring in a guy like Sam Darnold, who actually had a phenomenal year with the Vikings, but he was also playing behind a very
Justin Jefferson, good offensive line.
Well, yeah, good offensive line that kept him upright. And of course, he has Justin Jefferson. Although I do like the Seahawks wide receiver room, though. That actually is something I actually do like. But the interesting thing it's like, how are you going to keep Sam Darnold upright?
3-2.
Right? You also have to actually give him a running game as well too. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oklahoma's winning by 6 against Denver. Big surprise.
Tough division too. NFC West. No one I don't think is great, but there's no bad team in there either.
I just realized the last time, and here's a liner to left field, and is that a fair ball? I think it is. It is a fair ball. He's going to second base, and that's going to be a double.
I thought
By
that was
the way,
foul.
last time Oklahoma/Seattle played against Denver as the 1 seed and against the 8 seed.
Seattle.
What year was it?
93, and it was Seattle.
94. Maybe that
93,
magic
94.
happens. Maybe Denver pulls off the 8-seeded upset. Let's do it. Let's go, Denver.
Matumbo with
93,
the
94, yeah.
If there's a game 7, I'm going to cover it. And I will shove 94 down everyone's throats.
Dude, that pissed me off so bad. I still remember that.
Then
I
Rowdy
still remember that
Tellez.
series.
And now the pitch. Now here's a
Dude, I was
ground
heated.
ball. Wow. That's going to at least move the runner to third base, but Tellez isn't going to really do much. And now we got 2 outs with Randy Rosarena at third base.
It was who was on that 90, 95, 94, 95 Denver Nuggets team? Oh, God,
93, 94. It was point guard was Chris Jackson, also known as Abdul Rahouf. Shooting guard was Reggie Williams. Then LaFonso. Then it was like LaFonso Ellis or Rodney Rogers, and then like Matumbo. I'm trying to remember who the small forward was for that team.
I'm trying to was Robert Pack on that team?
He was, and he had a huge dunk.
Yeah, Robert Pack.
And he got that steal against Gary Payton when Gary Payton had a chance to win in Game 4, and the Sonics really
Raji
blew that
Rogers.
one. Sean
Was
Kemp
it Dale Ellis?
No, Dale Ellis was
Dale
on any of
Ellis?
them.
Okay.
No Ellis.
Yeah, LaFonso Ellis was on that team.
That's
01.
right.
Yeah,
Brian
so
Williams,
Muhammad
later known
Abdul-Rahim.
as Bison Dele, who unfortunately
Bison
disappeared
Dele.
in a boat when he was on vacation with his girlfriend and his stepbrother, I guess, and he killed him.
Dude, I just remember Robert Pack was just clutch in that series.
1-1 for the Gosman or for Tavares. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss. That was a really ugly swing. He got him on that changeup, and that is going to be 1-2. Either it was a changeup or a curveball.
I remember racing home from school to watch Game 5, and I was still astonished that they at Coliseum on the home court at the Coliseum they couldn't.
With the NBA on NBC.
That's coming back too.
It is.
Yeah, I'll show you my intro because I made one myself in case I do basketball streaming. And now we're at 1-2.
But you got to get Marv Albert to call those games, though.
Yeah, I know.
'Cause he
It's
was-
going to be a bunch of Carmelo Anthony. The pitch.
Yes.
And that is
Yes.
on the foul.
Marv with the
Here's
czar,
Cosmo.
Mike Fratello.
Yeah, that's exactly
Here's
right.
Jordan for 3. Wait, foot on the line. That's a 2-pointer.
Here's Godsman's 2-2 pitch. Yes.
Which we're at 2-2 for Tavares the pitch. And that is a foul ball.
Yeah, and it was. Well, you're right. It was Marv Albert and Mike Fratello.
That was a good comp. I felt bad for Marv Albert when he had Mac Dukes and Bill Walton. That must have driven him nuts.
Yeah, because it was like once a month you would have Bill Walton on the color commentary.
Yeah, saying he's like a bad version of Ron Fairley.
Dude, he would constantly take a shit on the Sonics.
The Sonics were never a good comeback team. The 2-2, and that is the 3-2 for Tavares. As we're at 3-2 for Tavares.
But it doesn't matter though. That's the problem, man. That's the big problem with today's NBA. It's like even if the Sonics return, it's like this league
Product
is so
is still
watered down now.
garbage.
Dude, it's so watered down now.
3-2. Oh, strike 3 called that missed the strike zone, but the umpire called it anyway. And even the ABS said that was a strike. That was a ball 4. Very questionable call, but we don't have
there's
an
the
ABS.
moose.
Oh, here's
There's
my
the moose.
NBA on NBC intro.
This is the NBA on NBC.
For
That's
anyone
pretty good,
wondering,
man.
anyone wondering what
Tonight,
that
it's
picture was
game
for,
5.
it was
The Chicago Bulls and the New York Knicks.
Game 5 of the 1993 Eastern Conference Finals when the Knicks had literally 6 chances to get a point-blank shot. by
It's the
Charles
New York
Smith.
Knicks versus the Indiana Pacers.
And by the way, that picture was a picture of me giving a high five to the late Sonics guy, or Chris Brandon, aka the Sonics guy of Tacoma. Unfortunately, his life was taken away with a sudden heart attack in 2021. And it still hurts me that he didn't get to see a Sonics opening game.
Yeah, it's too bad. I actually met that dude a few times. He was actually a really good guy.
He's a down to earth. He was also straight to the point. Like, he's a very honest guy. That's what I liked about him.
Straight to the point, no faking. He used to cook MCs like a pound of bacon, from what I heard.
I remember I treated him when his house actually got robbed, and it actually got like local media attention. I treated him to a Storm basketball game. Free tickets. I got it hooked up because I was like, hey, I need to help Sonics guy, and I got him to go to a game.
So you took him to see the Storm?
Well, there was no other basketball at the time. We didn't even have the Seattle Superhawks, the basketball league, because that's their only basketball team we really have right now.
You could have took him to like a UW basketball game or something.
Season was already over.
All right. And
come on, to be fair, it was like Sue Bird was still hanging around, and it was Brianna Stewart's rookie season, so it wasn't too bad.
God, she's hot, Sue Bird.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but she's taken the 1-1.
Yeah, I
outside
heard.
for a ball.
I heard.
It's all right. She's good friends with Kyrie Irving, I think.
Megan Rapinoe.
Hey, good soccer player. And that is a strike. We're looking at 2-2.
She has bad taste in women.
Anyways, I don't want to get you to be like, hey, you can't say that. You're a meanie.
No.
2-2 to Springer. And strike 3 called. Talk about a makeup call. That was a makeup call right there.
Maybelline.
What did Josh say? NBA, people don't like our game, saying it's too many 3-point. Our solution is make a 4-point line. No, their solution was to make their courts look cooler and too much in the 21st century. Except it looks very unauthentic.
How about you let teams play defense?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, bring back hand checking, and we'll watch these games again. Like, the game was at least watchable until people started emulating the Golden State Warriors too much. And now the 1-0 to Barger, and that is a strike. Like, I don't blame Golden State with their 3-point heavy philosophy. If it worked, it worked. It's just that other teams tried to copy them, and they didn't really do a good job with it either.
Copycat league.
The only team in the 1-1, and here's a fly ball to Williamson.
But let's not pretend other sporting leagues don't do that, because when the Seahawks were like very good, everybody tried to copy that formula. Like, I remember the Arizona
just going to bring that up.
The Arizona Cardinals tried to do it with Deion Buchanan, trying to play that Cam Chancellor role, trying to bring that safety into the box, that type of hard hitting tackler. You know, they were trying to replicate that formula. Yeah,
Brady Tellez makes the catch, and wow, at a blink of an eye, we had a 1-2-3 inning actually.
All righty, gentlemen, you guys have a great night.
Yeah, you have a good night, man. Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes, sir. Yep, Jay, it's always good to see you, man. Hopefully everything goes well with you.
Take it easy. Thank you.
Good win.
Take it easy, bud.
And then this half inning will be my last as well. So the crew has abandoned Rooftop by himself for the comeback. So you can announce the comeback.
Yeah, that's my reaction for you.
It's so you can enjoy this 5-run. They won't score in the 5th, and then the 5-run 6th. It's going to be all you to bring them home.
Yeah, which I've always done. Hey, remember when it was like 8-2 or something with the Dodgers? I was like, oh, come on. Maybe people will vent, and they sure. The comments exploded that night.
Problem is, right now the losses are tough for us on videos because most people they lost a game, they're playing well, so there's not a lot of I can't yell at them. They're in first place. It's more of like, oh man, will they hold on? But it's a tough one here. But I will say they are having some okay at bats. Like, I mean, if that Julio line drive gets through, it's 5-3. If that wasn't called a strike, Leote might be at runners at the corners. So, I mean, the at bats haven't been awful again today. I think they've hit some balls hard.
To make matters worse, the next two pitchers are going to be Logan Evans and Bryce Miller, two struggling pitchers.
That makes me. This is where you just miss Gilbert and Kirby so much because you don't have one of those guys going at it tomorrow. Where I'd go, not that nervous, but now it's like
no room for error.
Castillo
I'm
need to be better
projected to actually do. He does.
Yeah,
and I'm projected to do tomorrow's game actually. Yeah, Brian, the fact that our best pitcher right now is Brian Wu, and he got lit up pretty badly against the A's. Now here's Dylan Moore up to the plate, who almost hit that home run. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike, a 92 by Kevin Gausman. His pitch count kind of went up a little bit. Must have had something to do with 2 innings ago when the Mariners actually rallied a little bit for a run. And now we're at the 0-1, the pitch. And a big swing and a miss. And that is strike 2. Dylan Moore really tried to. And now we're at 0-2 for Dylan Moore. Kevin Gausman at 72 pitches. He's been pitching very well in this game. And now the pitch. And that is outside for a ball, 1-2. And then for anyone, this is an unrelated thing, but Marine Layer Podcast actually got an invitation by Everett Aquasox to throw the ceremonial first pitch, the 1-2.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, now it's up to you and I to one day throw a ceremonial first pitch for maybe the Mariners on spring training.
Got the ball ready. Let's see if I can. I don't know how to pitch. So, I mean, I can throw a ball though, so I could probably get it there. It wouldn't look
I just want the glory. I don't care how I do. If I pitch badly, it's funny. If I pitch good, it's like, oh, it's good. He's a good pitcher.
Hey, can we put you in the pen today?
Yeah, or at least have or vibe with the bullpen.
Right.
And now we're at 2-2 for the Dylan Moore. And now the 2-2 pitch. And now here's a liner to not the liner, ground to right for the third baseman, throw to first in time. And now that's 1 out.
Geez, that throw had some mustard on it. From Barger or Barger.
Barger has really carried this team.
He's killed us. He is killing us.
All by himself. It's not even Bichette. It's not even Vlad. It's Barger out of all players.
The Mariners doing Mariner things that we're at least we're used to this. This is more of our comfort zone.
And well, the thing is, I guess they're Friday. They don't do well on Fridays. Like, remember the Miami game I went to with my friend? That didn't go well. And we were like, at the time we were worried because that's when we thought Logan could have had Tommy John. There was a chance because Dan Wilson wasn't even sure about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he sounded nervous too. As we're at 1-0 for Williamson. And now here's a fly ball to deep right center field. It could still be going. And he's going to leap. And I think he makes the catch. He robbed the home run. He robbed Ben Williamson, preventing Williamson from hitting the home run. It was a great catch by the center fielder, but as Mariners fans, it's frustrating to watch, and that's where the whole Marine Layer it screwed us over. Bring in the fence, the batter's eye. Yeah, he robbed that home run. Oh, yeah, he robbed it good. It looked like there was a shot. It looked really good. And now here's J.P. Crawford, as we're at 2 outs already. And now the pitch. Low for a ball. Oh, man. Just like Cal Raleigh when he got robbed by Carpenter. Was that his name? Or Parkerson or Parker?
It was Meadows. Wasn't it Parker Meadows?
Parker Meadows. That's right. And I actually witnessed that too. The 1-0.
Yeah. This game is if Julio's line drive goes over and that goes over the fence, this game could easily be 5-4, 5-5.
It really could, as we're at 2. It could be 5-2 right now. With that, could have been a Ben Williamson home run. First home run at T-Mobile, the pitch. And now here's a liner, and that's going to be, wow. This game has become Murphy's Law. Everything that has gone wrong has gone wrong. Like JP had a good hit, Julio had a good hit, Williams had a good hit, and it all just landed on everyone's gloves.
Well, and that's a fitting ending for me there.
For you.
We get to see 2 line drives caught. So the good news is, I mean, I agree, Kevin, at least 5 robberies tonight. Julio's, I mean, imagine if Julio's line drive isn't caught. That scores 2, and you've got Cal up. If Williams's isn't caught, that's a home run. If JP's isn't caught, that might be, you know, a bit. I mean, this game is not far off from actually being like 5-5, but it's baseball. It happens. So Rooftop, as always, appreciate you having me on, my friend. Thank you.
Yep, and it's time to go solo. So let's do this on a 5-1 blowout game. Thank you, Jay Trident.
Thank you.
Yep, that is now it's up to me to finish this game, and I don't even need these headsets anymore because I'm not talking to anyone. I guess the Canadian fans were not as prominent. At least from what I've heard. They're talking about Luke Raley's having that 60 seconds with the Mariners, and it's unfortunate that he is injured. And the Mariners definitely are bleeding in that outfield depth, which is why the Mariners brought in Leody Taveras off the Claimers. Are you a believer in the Mariners? Nope. I need to see more consistency. I need to see it in longevity. That's what I need, Christian. I'm always going to be very critical on this team. And now we are back from the break. And now the pitch. And that is a strike. And we got Casey Leguminina. He has taken over because Luis Castillo is done for the night. And now the pitch. And that is another strike. That's going to be an 0-2 count on Casey Legumina. And now the 0-2. And that's going to be a foul ball. And now we're at 0-2. And now the pitch. And he tried to frame that one, but that's going to be a ball on the outside, 1-2. And the pitch to Lukes. And now here's a fly ball to left center field. This could be trouble. And actually, Randy Rosarena makes the catch, and that's going to be 1 out. And here's Heineman. And that's going to be, he's 0 for 2 so far. And now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to right field, more like a pop-up. And Taveras is there. And he makes the catch. And so far, easy inning for the Mariners. They just got to get that 3rd out. Legumina. Jonathan Clase is now up to the plate. The former Mariner, who was traded away to the Toronto Blue Jays for Yimi Garcia. Now, ironically, Yimi Garcia returned to the Blue Jays anyway. As now we're at 0 for 2 for Clase, the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. And that's going to be 0-1. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 2. Nice pitch by Legumina. Had a little bit of a breaking stuff, not like a slider that was. And now it's going to be 0-2. Yeah, but I hear you, but we just got to make sure the Mariners don't go on such a meltdown like they did last year. I'm talking about that kind of longevity where they're preventing meltdown stuff. The pitch up high for a ball. And Mariners are still far from being actual contenders for the American League West because, yes, they're in the lead, but they only hold a 3-game lead on the Astros, or I'm sorry, the Athletics. Now the pitch outside for a ball. They only hold a 3-game lead on the Athletics, 3.5 to the Houston Astros. And depending how Brett Boone does on rallying that team, you never want to count out the Texas Rangers. And now the 2-2. And that is strike 3 called, and that's going to retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Mariners still have a lot of ground to make up. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RoofTopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. See, he hasn't changed. He hasn't changed classe, and is still not in session. Oh, right. If we can just go on a little bit of a 500 or better, that'd be great in like the next 40 games. They're going to have to, I still want them to be hot throughout the first half, and then maybe can go 500 half-fast baseball for the rest of the season. But we don't know. It also depends on seeding implications too. But it seems that, home field advantage is still going to be critical in the playoffs because that's what the Mariners need. Because they do play better at home, especially their pitchers. Especially for playoff baseball. Still on commercial break. And we are back from the break, and I believe the hitter is going to be Julio Rodriguez, or it's going to be Jorge Polanco. Let's see if he can get something going here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mariners have had 6 hard hit outs tonight. Season high was at San Francisco and Toronto. And yet the Mariners, I think they may have won that game. It was the 19th. They won that game on that Saturday. And Julio is on deck. Polanco, hopefully he's got to do something. As we're at 1-0. And now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to second baseman. Tossed over the first in time. And now that's going to be Julio Rodriguez up to the plate. And Julio really has got to get it going. He hasn't really done much at all. He is 0 for 2, batting only .224 this season. And he's really got to step up and pick that up because nobody else is going to do it for him. And now here's Julio Rodriguez, who is 0 for 2. Now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball foul. It's actually just fouled back anyway. And also, I know I don't mean to nag you guys, but my goal is $50. By the end of this day, Northwest Sports Maddox makes like $200 to $300 a night. Trying to give him a run for his money. So donate to the channel through the YouTube super chats. That's a fly ball foul, or go onto Venmo or my PayPal and help make this my more, not saying full-time, but more of a better part-time thing. I could use like a more fun thing to do at the end of this day and get paid for. Nothing wrong with that. I know that sounds needy. As we're at 0-2 for Julio. Now the pitch. That is low for a ball, 1-2. As we're at 0-2 for Julio. And now the pitch is a ground ball foul again. Now we're at 1-2, and my feed just died off for a second. Time's been called. Julio 1-2. Gosman, this could be his last inning. And now the pitch. And that is low for a ball. 2-2. If you are to walk or get on base, Julio, you still got Cal Raleigh behind you. So it's not that crazy to think that the Mariners can still get into this game, as we're at 2-2. And the pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to get right through for a base hit. And Julio Rodriguez will get on the board with a single. And that gets Cal Raleigh up to the plate. And let's see what kind of damage he can do. Now here's Cal Raleigh up to the plate. Now the pitch. And that is outside for a ball. 0-1. Vlad Guerrero Jr. doesn't have his dreadlocks anymore. As we're at 1-0 for the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a strike. It's going to be a 1-1. As we're at 1-1. And now the pitch. Oh, inside, and nearly got thrown to first, and that is not in time. And Julio nearly got thrown out at first base. Kevin Gossman's now over 90 pitches. And Julio got back just in time. Now we're at 2-1 for Cal Raleigh. Now the 0-2. Or I'm sorry, the 2-1, excuse me. And that's going to be a 3-1. We got a pitcher in the bullpen. That's going to be Brendan Little. He's getting loose in the bullpen. On deck would be Randy Arozarena. It was at least 1 for 2. And now the 3-1. And a swing and a miss. And that's going to be 3-2 for the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And now we're at 3-2 for Gosman. And the pitch. And here's a weak chopper. And actually, that might be a base hit. Throw. No throw. And Cal Raleigh had a weak chopper. And he gets on base with a single. And now we got Randy Arozarena up to the plate, who has a chance to really close in the gap. I'm noticing a video where Blue Jay fans looks like they have not really outnumbered the Mariner fans today, actually. Now we've got Randy Arozarena up to the plate. And now the pitch. It's going to be outside for a ball. One 1-0 so far, and the lefty from the Blue Jays is ready in the bullpen. as Gosman's approaching pitch number 96. And now the pitch. And that was just right down the middle for a strike, and Rosarena should have swung at that one. Not sure if that was exactly his pitch, though. It's not. He doesn't really have much of a hot spot. It's that bottom corner towards his knees. He hates the middle, I guess. And now the 1-1, the pitch. And a big swing and a miss. That was right down the middle, strike 2. On deck would be Rowdy Tellez, so we got to see if Randy Arozarena can actually hit the ball. As now we're at 1-2 on Randy Arozarena. He's got to figure it out. The 1-2 pitch, low for a ball, 2-2 for Arozarena. Gosman's getting close to 100 pitches. We're at 2-2. And now here's the 2-2 pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that will get right through for a base hit. That should be scoring in a run. Julio's going to score, and the Mariners will make it to a 3-run lead by the Blue Jays, a 3-run ball game as Randy Arozarena drives in a run. He really should not be doing that poser thing, but he does score in the run, and that's going to leave Rowdy Tellez to be up to the plate. Randy Arozarena had a nice, solid single. And it looks like the manager he's coming out, and I think he has seen enough for Gosman. Yep, Gosman is going to be out. And it's going to be Little. And I wonder if it's a lefty. I wonder if that's going to do what that's going to do for the lefty-righty matchup. I wonder if that's going to bring in, unfortunately, Donovan Solano, which I hope it doesn't, because that would just totally end the inning. And please give me some kind of a break, because I really need to, I need a breather.
Senor, tell me how you make a thin crust Sahara pizza.
With your hands. Cornmeal.
Hello, baseball fans. I'm excited to announce that we are still offering 50% off pizza and 25% off bowling Monday and Tuesdays. Head on over to Snoqualmie Sahara Pizza. This deal will go through May.
And that's how you make a Sahara pizza. Beautiful thing.
And we are back from the break. Gosman struck out 3 batters. Castillo struck out. Gosman didn't even strike out anyone, actually. And I wonder if Rowdy Tellez is still going to be batting. It's actually going to be Donovan Solano, so this inning's pretty much over. It's going to be a double play, the pitch, and that's going to be a strike, and I just don't understand why we're using Donovan Solano. He's just not good. I think this is a horrible decision. He's batting 148. Granted, he's been playing a little bit better, but not in this situation when you're trying to make a comeback. The pitch and check swing, did he go? He did go. I did not agree with that decision to pinch hit Rowdy Tellez because of just platoon matchup. Like when Donovan Solano is bad, it doesn't even matter when you play with the matchups. Against lefties, though, he does struggle batting 111. But does Donovan Solano do any better? And now the 0-2 and low for a ball and good stop by the catcher. Let's see. Donovan Solano. How does he do against lefties himself? As we're at 1-2. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Yeah, so here's the thing. So Solano only bats 118 against lefties, and Tellez bats 111. So by only a 7-point differential, you still pinch hit on a very clutch situation. I think this is a losing effort, a losing decision by Dan Wilson. I heavily disagreed with that. I think that was a horrible decision by Dan Wilson. I mean, it's not like Tellez is not going to be any worse than Donovan Solano. I don't care about the lefty-righty matchup. It doesn't matter at this point. And now here's Taveras, the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. And now we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball, 1-1. As we're at 1-1 for Taveras. And the pitch. Now here's a liner to left field, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. That's going to at least get one run in there. Cal Raleigh's going to score, and now it's 5-3. Mariners have cut the lead to 2 on a Taveras RBI. Now we got runners on second and third with 2 outs. That was a really good swing by Leody Taveras, and Taveras has actually paid some dividends for the Mariners so far. Mariners are very much back in business, being down just by 2 runs. Kevin Seitzer and Brian Wu showing their excitement. They're really happy about it. And now here's Dylan Moore. Can he add some more to it? And now here's the pitch, and that's going to be up high for a ball. And you really feeling the excitement on this one. Like, you got Dylan Moore, who's actually having a good season so far. He is 0-2, though, but this is a good opportunity. As we're at 1-0, he does hit better against lefties, of course. And now the 1-0, and that's going to be in there for a strike. I really think Rowdy Tellez should have had a shot. And now we're at 1-1. And now the pitch to Dylan Moore. And check swing. Why did you do that? Oh, he gets away with it. He's batting .295 so far. And he has a chance to almost even tie this game. And let's make it happen. Against lefties, he bats .357. And now the 2-1. And that was right in there for a strike. That was almost your pitch, Dylan Moore. It was in the cold zone, but maybe still, maybe he just didn't like the pitch anyway. As we're at 2-2, 0-2 is Dylan Moore. Runners on second and third, 2 outs. And now here's the 2-2. And why did you swing at that? That literally hit the damn dirt. It hit the dirt. Why would you swing at that, you idiot? Why? Why? That was a horrible swing. Okay, no, just leave me alone. Give me some time for about another minute.
We're making half pineapple, half tiki tiki with barbecue chicken. You put the garlic. Put the pineapple on the whole pizza. Remember, they want half pineapple, and the one is going to be tiki tiki. Tiki tiki with pineapple, garlic, feta, Better cheese. Or eat your heart. And the chicken. And we're gonna spread some barbecue on top. And it's ready. Put it on the oven. Let it run.
Hello, baseball fans. I'm excited to announce that we are still offering 50% off pizza and 25% off bowling Monday and Tuesdays. Head on over to Snoqualmie Sahara Pizza. This deal will go through May. How could Dylan Moore swing at something like that? That was a horrible swing. Could have had Ben Williamson up to the plate, and that's why Dylan Moore is now batting just 284. And we are back from the break. Now we got Casey Legumina. And now the pitch. Outside for a ball. Bo Bichette is 2 for 2 so far. He's been very efficient in this game. Now the pitch. And that is a strike. And Legumina, I guess he earned himself another inning because of his easy 1-2-3. He's at 13 pitches so far. You would assume that this is his last inning, as now we're at 1-1 for Bo Bichette. And now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to J.P. Crawford. Should be easy play. Throw to first. And that is in time to get the first out. And I'm also going to see how many games I've been in so far. So I couldn't do the A's game, but I'm back to doing the Blue Jays game. And because I was able to do today's game, I am now at 19 games so far. And now the pitch. And that is going to be in there for a strike. Now I kind of wonder how long it took for me to get to 19 games or 20 games in the month of, and then last year, the pitch. And that is going to be a strike for Vlad Guerrero Jr. Going to check my logs and see how long it took for me to get to that point. And now the 0-2. And a swing and a miss. That was a really bad swing by Guerrero. And now we got 2 outs. That was a strikeout. Nice one. I'm going to count my games so far. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And now the pitch. And that is going to be in there for a strike. I got to 19 games by April 29th, so I'm actually behind compared to this season. And now the pitch. And that's going to be inside for a ball. And that's going to be a 1-1 count. So the stretch of the Boston Red Sox and the Marlins really did not help me at all. The 1-1 and a swing and a miss, strike 2 on an 82-mile-an-hour pitch. And the Mariners can get out of this inning. And once they do, that means you can get Ben Williamson, then J.P. Crawford, and Jorge Polanco. So the Mariners do have some opportunities to get something going in the bottom of the 7th inning. With the Mariners only being down 5-3. And now the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3, a second straight strikeout for Casey Legumina. And that is going to retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It is stretch time, and it's time for the 7th inning stretch. And let me set something up for the Take Me Out to the Ball game. And here we go. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, so let's root for the Mariners. If they don't win, it's a shame. It would be a shame because the Mariners have 2 struggling starters for the last 2 games of the series. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Bop, 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 low, oh, oh no, we gotta go. Yeah, 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 low, way. Oh, baby, said we gotta go. A fine little girl, she waiting for me. I got a ship across the sea, a ship all alone. Yeah, Mariners need to rally though, as we are back from the break. Yeah, it's crazy to think that I'm actually off the pace. I was actually well on pace to get 100 last season. And they are trying to make a comeback, it's for sure. And here's Ben Williamson, and now the pitch, and a big swing and a miss, and that's going to be strike 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As we're at 0-1 so far for Ben Williamson. He is 1 for 2. And now the pitch. Check swing. Did he go? He did go around. And that's going to be 0-2. You didn't miss anything, but Mariners got 2 more runs to make it 5-3. But Dylan Moore struck out on a pitch literally at the dirt, similar to the Dom Can zone, except that was a check swing. Now we're at 0-2 the pitch. And that is strike 3 called. Down he goes. And that's going to be 1 out. And it's going to be up for J.P. Crawford. Yeah, it looks like Williams has been robbed quite a bit. The pitch to KJP Crawford, that's going to be a foul ball. We're at 0-1 so far for JP. And now the pitch. Now here's a sharp ground ball fielded by the third baseman to throw to first in time. And now the Mariners are on the verge of suffering a 1-2-3 inning against them. Mariners are suffering at 2 outs right now. And it's going to be Jorge Polanco. Can he get anything done in this inning? He's got to get going. He hasn't really done anything in this game, which is why his batting average has dipped to 347. He is 1 for 3, though. But that still brings his batting average down. Now Polo is going to be on the right side. And now the pitch. And that's going to be inside for a ball. That's going to be 1-0 the count. Yimi Garcia is now in the bullpen, the former Mariner. As we're at 1-0 so far. Now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike, 1-1. And yeah, that's crazy. The Mariners have actually out-hit the Blue Jays today. It's 8-7 so far, but only 3 runs to show for it. As we're at 1-1, the pitch. And low for a ball, 2-1. He didn't swing at that one. As of now, I'm on 35 games on pace by the end of this month, 2-1. And that's going to be up high for a ball, 3-1. Three and one the count for Jorge Polanco. He's got a lot of work to do as we're at 3-1. Now the pitch. And that's going to be a strike, and they were not going to give it to Polo on that one. As we're at 3-2. And now the 3-2. And that's going to be popped up, and that's not going to get anything done. Vlad Guerrero is there, and he makes the catch, and that's going to retire the side as we are going to the top of the 8th inning, and they are still trailing by 2 runs.
Modern Exterior Solutions is a fully licensed and insured full-service exterior renovations company serving Seattle and East Side communities. We know that a home is one of your most important possessions. That's why we're committed to providing high-quality, affordable home renovations for each customer's individual budget. We're diverse enough to meet the challenges of any project you put in front of us. Our workmanship minimizes the use of third-party services, and our team works together to meet all your deadlines. Anytime there's a challenge, we work with you to find a solution. We are proud to work with distributors of quality brand products with durable, ample protection from the elements for a variety of applications, including James Hardie siding and trim. Talk with us today about your project's needs, and we can help you solve all the challenges along the way.
And we are back from the break. Mariners bullpen on the 6-game road trip has earned 5 runs. Guess it's not too bad, I think. And now we've got Colin Snyder. And now the pitch to George Springer. And that's going to be in there for a strike. And now the pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball. As we're at 1-1 so far. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 2. As we're at 1-2. And now the pitch. That's going to be low for a ball. That's going to be 2-2 the count. As we're at 2-2. And now the pitch. And that's going to be 3-2 the count. Is now at 3-2 the pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to JP Crawford. Greatly fielded. Throw to first in time. And that's going to be the first out of the inning. Now here's the pitch. Now here's a liner to right field, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. That is going to be an extra base, and that is going to be a double. And that's actually Barger again. So that makes it now 3 for 4 with 3 doubles. And he's not even that good of a hitter either. And now it's going to be Eddie Clement. to try to extend this inning. Addison Barger has literally carried this entire team. And the pitch. And a swing and a miss, and that's going to be strike one. 3 doubles for Barger. You are right. As now we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, and that's going to be strike 2. As we're at 0-2 for Clement. And the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball, and that's still going to be strike 2. Now we're at 0-2 for Clement. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's going to be 2 outs. Now here's Luke's. He is now at the plate. It's Lucas who hit the home run, the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball. Mariners are really still bleeding in that outfield because Lucas, that just made me think of Luke Raley. As now we're at 0-1. Lucas had a 2-run home run. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. Now the pitch. And low for a ball. That nearly got him. We're at 1-2 for Lucas. They got to get out of this inning to prevent any kind of damage from the Blue Jays, any further damage. And yeah, the Blue Jay fan attendance isn't really that much great. As we're at 1-2. And now the pitch. Up high for a ball, 2-2. We're at 2-2 for Luke's. And now the pitch. And it's a ground ball foul. As we're at 2-2. And did he go? He looks like he did. And throw to first. And that's going to be in time. And that will retire the side as the Mariners are still in need. They are still absolutely in need of some kind of a miracle. We got the 8th inning with Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, and Randy Arozarena. So there is still a chance. And we are back from the break. Blue Jays at 5, Mariners at 3. J-Rod squad. Don't care about it. I would never sit in the J-Rod squad. It's not even worth it. And now Jimmy Garcia has now come onto the mound, who the Mariners traded for last year out of Jonathan Clase. And this season, he hasn't really been great. He's at a 4.20 ERA. Here is Julio Rodriguez, and that's big swing and a miss. That is going to be strike one. Jimmy Garcia, unfortunately, suffered injuries. Is now we're at 1 for 3. And now the pitch. And a big swing and a miss. And he was really going for that one. That was on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. As now we're at 0-2. And the 0-2 pitch. And just missed it. And that's going to be a 1-2 count for Julio Rodriguez, as he is 1 for 3 so far, as he led the rally 2 innings ago. And as now we're at 1-2. One and two for Julio Rodriguez. And the 1-2 pitch. Now here's a liner to center field, and that's going to be a base hit. And Julio gets himself on base. He is now 2 for 4. And now you got the tying run at the plate. Let's set that table for the Mariners. I just realized that Eric Young Jr., the coach, first base coach for the Mariners, his father was actually Eric Young Sr., who was a cancer survivor. The pitch, low for a ball, that nearly got away, and that's going to be ball 1 for Cal Raleigh. Eric Young Jr. also used to be a Major League ball player, too, from 2009 to 2018. He was actually a stolen base leader at one point in 2013. Wow, I had no idea that. The other fun fact, Eric Young Sr., he also has... Wait a second. Eric Young Jr., Dallas Dupree Young, his father is actually Eric Young Sr., where Dallas Dupree Young was actually an actor from Cobra Kai known as Kenny. What a connection there. As we're at 1-0. And now here's the 1-0 pitch. That is outside for ball. I had no idea that Dallas Dupree Young, actor of Cobra Kai, his father, his half-brother was actually Eric Young Jr. It's crazy. And now we're at 2-0. And now the pitch. Outside for a ball, 3-0. And with this situation, maybe I would just take the walk. Unless you know for sure that you can hit the home run. Yeah, very small world, isn't it, Josh? Especially when Cobra Kai is actually my most favorite show of all time. And the pitch. And ball 4, take your base. And now it's up to Randy Arozarena. Now we have the lead run at the plate. Bottom of the 8th with absolutely no outs right now. But Jimmy Garcia's got to know that he does have a pretty significant strike zone to work with because Randy Arozarena does not do well with the middle. He's only does well in the corners, his own corner, which is really weird. But Arozarena is 2 for 3. He has a chance to get the Mariners into anything kind of going. And now the pitch. And that is low for a ball that gets away. And now we got runners in scoring position. Both runners in scoring position. If Randy Arozarena can put it in the gap, you can easily tie this game. If only Steve or Jay Trident Podcast were here for this. And that did get away. And it looks like we're seeing the Mariners' Jimmy Garcia. As we advance the runners from the second and third. And now Arozarena's 2 for 3. And now the pitch. And low for a ball again, 2-0. But the thing is, you may want to consider, you want Randy Arozarena to score runs because you do not want to put the game on the hands of Donovan Solano with the bases loaded. You don't want that. As we're at 2-0 for Randy Arozarena, he is 2 for 3. And now the pitch. And that is outside for ball 3, 3-0. But here's the thing. I'm giving the green light to Randy Arozarena. I want him to put the ball in play, get those 2 runs in. So the pressure will be off for Donovan Solano because you cannot trust him with the bases loaded potentially. As now we're at 3-0. And now the pitch. And why did you think you were going to get a ball 4, Randy Arozarena? As now that's going to be a 3-1 count. I don't know why you thought that was a walk. You're just delusional. You're a poser. As we're at 3-1 for Randy Arozarena. And now the 3-1 pitch. And that is ball 4, take your base. The good news is the bases are loaded. The bad news is Donovan Solano is now up to the plate unless they're doing some kind of a pinch hitting, which he should. You don't want Donovan Solano in this situation. You can't trust him with the bases loaded. Actually, it's going to be Miles Mastroboni who's actually going to be the pinch hitter in this situation. Because Donovan Solano cannot be trusted against lefties anyway. And now they're just having a chat with Donovan Solano. And I just want to see how the Mariners do with the bases loaded. We got to find that out on the stats. When the bases are loaded, the Mariners are actually 16th with the bases loaded. They're batting .294. And in terms of runs, or shall I say RBIs, Mariners are actually second in the league with the bases loaded. So this is a really significant opportunity. You have Julio at third, Cal Raleigh at second, Randy Arozarena at first. And all it is, it's on to Miles Mastroboni to really make something happen. It's all up to him. He's batting .234, though. He has struggled in the month of May, or basically this last month in general. And Rivas is actually running for Randy Arozarena. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. If you can just get it somewhere up in the middle or like somewhere in the gap, you can easily tie this game, especially with Julio at third. And now the 0-1. And that's going to be low for a ball. That nearly got away. And that's going to be a 1-1 count. Yeah, just don't ground out. You ground out, you're getting doubled up. It would be best to either strike out or a hit. What? As now we are at 1-1 of fans filming this game. It's like just live the moment. That's what they're showing on the camera right now. As we're at 1-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. 2-1. The magic number is now 2 to make it a 1-run ball game. Mariners have really rallied. Like this is going to be the third straight game that they are rallying from this kind of a game. As now we're at 2-1. And now the pitch. Up high for a ball, 3-0. And Jimmy Garcia is just struggling to find the strike zone. Julio really wants to get it going. The fans are up on their feet. A 3-1 count. All fans are standing up. The Mariner fans are trying to be shown that they are outnumbering the Blue Jay fans. Garcia got what he wants. As we're at 3-1 the count. And now the pitch. And now here's the liner, and that is actually off the glove, and the throw to the plate, that is going to be a force out. So there was a little bit of a bobbling moment that made everyone freeze for a moment. And no play is going to be done there, as Vlad Guerrero Jr. had a heart attack of a moment, had a nice exit velocity. That would have actually probably gotten everyone to score. And they had no choice. He almost picked off Rebos on that one. And now this inning can just be over at a blink of an eye. The pitch and a swing and a miss. And now it's going to be up to Leody Taveras to be the hero. Dylan Moore is up on deck. But this is not, now it just all of a sudden became your confidence just went down. And now we're at 0-1. The pitch. Low for a ball, 1-1. And you couldn't blame Mastroboni for making a swing like that. It's just that it nearly landed, and just went to Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s direction. And now we're at 1-1 for Taveras. And now the pitch. And that is going to be a strike two. And you're already in danger of making it 2 outs for an 0-3 Dylan Moore, which is something that you really don't want to happen. Bases loaded, 1-2 for Taveras. Mariners are very much in danger of wasting away an entire bases loaded opportunity. Now we're at 1-2 for Taveras. Now the pitch and a swing and a miss, strike 3, and Garcia is finally getting back in the tone, and that's going to be 2 outs. Now it's up to Dylan Moore, and on a very similar situation, like the vibe that you're getting is now Dylan Moore back in 2021. He hit that grand slam home run against the Houston Astros. Now I'm delusionally hoping that magic is somehow coming back for Dylan Moore, but he's 0-3 against Yimi Garcia. It's going to be very tough to do that. And now the pitch and a swing and a foul ball, and that is going to be strike 1. It's just crazy that you wasted it from Miles Mastroboni, had a good hit, and then Vlad Guerrero Jr. was able to find a way to get a force out at home. And now here's Dylan Moore, and now the pitch, and that's going to be outside for a ball. Like, if you could just get it in the gap somewhere, you can score all 3 of them, and that will get Munoz to the 9th inning. But hold up, we got to see if Dylan Moore can even survive this thing. And now we're at 1-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a strike. And that was well outside the strike zone. I don't know why you can call that. That's why that stuff like this is reason why you're calling for the ABS system. And now the Mariners are in danger of just blowing an entire bases loaded. And now we're at 1-2. And now the pitch. And that's a foul ball. That was a really good pitch to hit. And now he fouls it. Mariners are in danger of wasting away an entire bases loaded opportunity. Sure, you're going to have Ben Williamson and everyone else on top, but you just don't want to waste this. It would just be a confidence killer. And now the pitch, and that's going to be inside ball 2. We're at 2-2, 27 pitches for Garcia. He has completely struggled, but he's got his momentum back. He got Mastroboni to line out, and now the 2-2 pitch, and a swing and a miss, strike 3. And that's going to retire the side, and the Mariners wasted a bases-loaded opportunity with no outs. You know, back in 2001, it was 2 outs, so what? Here it is. No outs, so what? I'm going to put that on the Twitter right now. 2001 Mariners. 2 outs, so what? 2025 Mariners. No outs, bases loaded. So what? Two outs, so what? Turn into no outs, bases loaded. So what? Just an absolute embarrassment. Like even Root Sport doesn't even want to show itself because it's embarrassed of how they did. Just really frustrated. I was so frustrated I threw something. I mean, first off, the Blue Jays got insanely lucky with that. And whatever I just threw, I just lost it. It's now in the dark. Alexa, turn on the lights. That's how upset I am. It didn't have to be that way. And now I just lost my stream. That's how Root Sports is just embarrassed. And we are back from the break. Some fans have been crowning them the division champs, World Series favorites in early May. Look at the runners. Mastroboni hits for Solano, Tavares, Moore. That's not what a top team sends up there. Nope. And now we got Troy Taylor, who's been bouncing around between the AAA and Major League Baseball. Troy Taylor has just been awful this season. 4 games, a 12 ERA, 3 innings, 2 strikeouts, but no walks. But still, he's been absolutely struggling. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a strike. And now the 0-1. And now here's a fly ball. That's a foul ball. You don't like to... Oh, and that's actually a base hit. And the throw to first. He gets there in time. Seems like Tavares just wasn't paying attention. I really don't like to be negative. Good season, but they're in for a reality check with those hitters being half the lineup. Yeah, you're not wrong, Fritz. You're not wrong at all. And I threw something in disgust. Now I can't even find it. And now the pitch to Clase. Here's a bunt attempt, and that is foul ball well out of play. Just watching Dylan Moore strike out like that was just extremely frustrating. As now we're at 0-1. Yankees just absolutely destroying the A's. And now the pitch. And a foul and a bunting attempt in the throw to first. And that is going to be in time, but you got a runner at second base. Jonathan Clase is known for his speed, that's for sure. And now the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. Can't believe I'm still just pondering the fact that the Mariners had the bases loaded with nobody out, and they still couldn't score. As we're at the 1-0, it's going to be outside for a ball. Mariners still have a long way to go. Sure, they made some comebacks, but they also shouldn't have gotten themselves in that situation either. Now the 2-0 by Troy Taylor, the pitch. And he's missing it for a ball 3. And at this point, I would just intentionally walk him, but then you don't want to go up against Vlad Guerrero Jr. with 2 men on either. But I don't see what's the point of fighting it, though, anyway. Now the 3-0. And that's going to be a strike, and Bo Bichette's a little bit surprised. Ha! Fritz, you're glad you're listening. You didn't want to watch that. Yeah, look what I'm doing. I'm watching the whole damn thing. As we're at 3-1. And now the pitch. And ball 4, take your base. Yeah, at least one would have made it doable in the 9th inning. I agree. Because then you're going to have Jeff Hoffman to deal with, the closer. Guerrero is 0 for 3. Now the pitch. And now here's a liner to right field, and that's going to be a base hit. That's probably going to score in the run. And no, it does not. Tavares was right on the money to throw him out. But you still have the bases loaded. Yeah, bases loaded, and yet the Blue Jays are going to do it just fine. You would think that this could be the series that the Mariners just completely blow it. I'm seeing maybe a 1 out of 3 at best. I don't see a 2 out of 3 in this series, especially if the Mariners don't win this game. If you lose this game, then you can kiss your 2 out of 3 goodbye. Here's Varsho, who is 0 for 4, chance to get into a double play as he's been struggling this inning, but it may change. And now the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. Troy Taylor is just not the same caliber as he was in the 2024 season. He just doesn't have it. And now we're at the 0-1 for Varsho. And now the pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball. Troy Taylor has just been all over the place this inning. As he is at 1-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. As we're at 1-2. And now the pitch. Outside for a ball, 2-2. They're saying that the timing just hasn't been there for him. Now the 2-2. And that's going to be popped up or fly ball to left center field or left field. That should get in the run. Tagging at third. And now here he comes. And now the throw to the plate. And that is a wild throw. But backed up by Troy Taylor. And now the Blue Jays have now taken a 6-3 lead. And now that might have just been the dagger. Now here's George Springer up to the plate. Troy Taylor's just been terrible in this inning and this season. Bullpen's just not the same. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. I think this game and this series may prove that the Mariners are just not there yet. Sure, they have a 3-game lead, but they don't have the personnel to have it sustainable. As now we're at an 0-1, and now the pitch, and that's going to be outside for a ball. But the problem I have with the rest of the series, you have Logan Evans, who isn't really that good. He just doesn't have the major league caliber in him. And the 1-1, low for a ball. Like, he's probably still going to be spending time in AAA going forward as soon as George Kirby and Logan Gilbert are back. And their presence are severely needed as we're at 2-1. And now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to center field, and Julio is making the catch, and that's going to retire the side. But the Mariners do surrender a run, and we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Last try for the Mariners. And I'm going to just do a commercial.
Senor, tell me how you make a thin crust Sahara pizza.
With your hands. Cornmeal.
Hello, baseball fans. I'm excited to announce that we are still offering 50% off pizza and 25% off bowling Monday and Tuesdays. Head on over to Snoqualmie Sahara Pizza. This deal will go through May.
And that's how you make a Sahara pizza. Beautiful thing.
Oh, boy. No, I need another commercial. And we are back from the break. Yeah, Miles Master. Can you not remind us, please? Yeah, Tavares strikes out. And then Dylan Moore struck out. Jeff Hoffman's now up on the mound. And it's going to be hard to stop him. But he has a 4.24 ERA, so maybe there's a chance. And now the pitch. He's actually on my fantasy baseball team. So ironically, if he gets a save, it actually benefits me, unfortunately, at the expense of the Mariners. And now we're at 0-1. Now the pitch. Low for a ball. That is now a 1-1 count for Ben Williamson. And now we're at 1-1. And the pitch. And that's a fly ball foul. It's a 97, pretty much right up the middle. He still fouls it. Some say that maybe this game just wasn't meant to be. Just like that Boston game. As we're at 1-2, and now the pitch, and check swing, and of course you swung at that, dumbass. And now that's going to be 1 out, and pretty much your opportunities are pretty much just slipping away. It's like, why'd you even swing at that? Yeah, rookie mistake right there. As now we got J.P. Crawford up to the plate. J.P. Crawford's 1 for 4. And now the pitch. And that's going to be, did he go? He did not. What the Mariners are going to need is extra bases. I don't think it proves that they can't just keep singling their way or walking their way to a victory. They have to actually get extra base hits. As we're at 1-0, the pitch, and he fouls it, and that kind of hits off of him, hoping JP Crawford's okay, as he is limping a little bit, and it's going to be 1-1. The idea that you're not going to be able to hit against Jeff freaking Hoffman, who has a 4-point-something ERA. It's pretty embarrassing. And now we're at 1-1. And now the pitch. And that is strike 2. I don't know why you were swinging. You didn't swing at that. So you were willing to, so you Mariners are willing to swing at bad pitches, but you won't swing at the good ones. And a double standard, don't you think? As now we're at 1-2. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. Just want to say thank you, Fritz, for being the one to donate to my channel. Anyone else would like to follow suit, that would be great. As we're at 1-2 for Jeff Hoffman. And the pitch. Up high for a ball, and that gets away. And now it's going to be 2-2. After this, you still have Jorge Polanco and you have Julio Rodriguez who are due up. But it's going to be up to JP Crawford to provide some kind of hope. And then on the 2-2. And that's going to be a ground ball. And so on and so forth. Many of you may strike out to this pitcher, but for my fantasy team, it is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. And now the 2-2. That's how much chemistry that we have, Josh. 2-2. And now the pitch. And that is outside for a ball. 3-2 for JP Crawford. Can he keep this going? Polanco is on deck. And then Julio Rodriguez. As now we're at a 3-2. And the pitch. What are you doing, you idiot? Oh, and it gets off the glove as JP Crawford strikes out, but he does get on base, but you didn't even have to swing at that. So bizarre moment for the Mariners. Like, Mariners caught the break, but I'm still dogging on JP for swinging at that. It was a horrible throw, and Vlad couldn't catch it. So the Mariners are still... Well, he did strike out, but did get to first. So maybe there is still a chance. I don't know. You got Jorge Polanco and JP Crawford. Jorge Polanco and Julio Rodriguez. Pitch clock going down. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a strike for Jorge Polanco. Lol, if they pull this one out, then I'll be a true believer. No. Even I won't even go that far, Fritz. As we're at 0-1 for Polanco. And now the pitch. Now here's a liner, and that is going to be foul ball. Not a pretty bizarre night for Vlad Guerrero Jr. so far. Maybe he wanted to hit to his direction. Yeah, some kind of would have been nice if that just went through, but it was foul ball anyway. And what are you doing? Yeah, they're showing the replay. This thing glitches all the time. And now... Oh, looks like that was an out. They call that an out? Why do they call that an out? I guess he struck out. Mariners are down to their final... Yeah, my thing glitched really badly. So now it's going to be up to Julio Rodriguez to keep this going. If I were you, Julio, I would be as unselfish as possible and let Cal Raleigh get up to the plate. Like, if it's 3-0, don't even swing at it, even if it's a strike, because I know you're not going to swing. You're not going to make a good hit swing anyway. As now we're at 2 for 4 as Julio Rodriguez. And now... Yeah, is that a violation? Did he call time? Polanco struck out swinging. That's what happened. Is that 2 for 4 is Julio Rodriguez. Hoffman on 15 pitches. And now it's up to Julio. And now the pitch. And a big swing and a miss. And Julio just continues to show how unreliable he really is. It was just right down the middle. That was even in his slight hot zone, too. As now we're at 0-1 for Julio. And the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. And the Mariners are down to that final strike. Mariners make everything difficult on themselves. They had the bases loaded with nobody out, and they couldn't even come up with even a run or anything ugly. As it just came up empty with 2 strikeouts. As we're at 0-2, down to the final strike. And now the 0-2 pitch. And now here's a ground ball, and this should do it. Toss over the second, and the ball game is over. The 6-3 final score. The Blue Jays take game 1 of this 3-game series, and you might as well say that the Mariners may not even win this series when you have Logan Evans and Bryce Miller up that are due up. Those are going to be your starters. So maybe this series is just not meant to be, and maybe there is some kind of a wake-up call that is due to happen on this Mariners team, that they just don't have the personnel. Like, they just can't keep getting lucky. But I'm going to just take off. That's going to do it. Doesn't seem like there's not enough engagement for me to just be around. So I'm going to take off. Everyone else, have a good night. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Fritz, my member of this channel. Thank you for donating your $2. And everyone else, have a good night and go Mariners.